Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast. Me, your host. My name is Chad Medved. Welcome to the show. Appreciate you being here today. We got some good stuff to talk about this week. First off, Turner Dairy Farms, proud sponsors of I'll Call You Right Back podcast, just dropped another limited edition flavored milk, chocolate banana. Found one at my local bodega yesterday. You know, for some reason, gas stations in Washington, they got that Turner's on deck. I saw the chocolate banana label, grabbed one, enjoyed it with a nice granola bar in the morning, and I was ready. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing better than that. But I know some people aren't milk drinkers. You know what I mean? I enjoy a flavored milk. You know, I'm not a psychopath that drinks just white milk. Who does that as an adult? You ever think about like your childhood whenever your parents would be like, oh, here's a big ass plate of spaghetti. Here's a big ass cup of white milk. They go hand in hand. It is outrageous to me to think about that now as an adult. But, you know, those are the things that pop into my mind. But if you are a white milk psychopath, Turner Dairy Farms got a fine milk and you know it. But, like I said, if you're not into milk, you already know they got that Turner's Premium Tea. And, you know, it coincides with this week because this week I enjoyed a Turner's Premium Tea in two big deal places. First off, you know, I got to interview Seven Springs this week. You know, this week on the podcast, I sit down with Alex Moser of Seven Springs. It is, I'm going to tell you, it's a long time coming. Alex even asked me, he goes, you know, you're about to be at 200 episodes. Why did it take you this long to get Seven Springs on here? And I'm like, bro, I had to come correct. You know, it's a big deal. I had to come up to Ian's with a resume of some people. You know what I mean? I had to, you know, if I was just starting and I was like, Seven Springs, let me get a day to, you know, cut some time out of your work day to entertain some yinzer that just wants to ask you dumb questions. You know, I had to come correct, and I did, and I made this shit happen, and I could not be more excited about it. I pull up to Seven Springs, and you know, I got a rare treatment. So Alex, he is the media director of Seven Springs. He's been that for the last decade and a half. And, you know, I pull up with all my shit in my hands and I say, you know, Alex, well, let's go. And he's like, I got a room ready for us. We'll go right upstairs. We go into this cut and, we go upstairs into this office and we sit down, and this office is a nice, you know, it's just it's like a boardroom right now. Got a real nice view of the slopes where you're just sitting at a nice table, and we're sitting there, and he tells me, he goes, you know, this is Bob Nutting's old office. And I was like, holy shit, like that's crazy. You know, I'm just interviewing Seven Springs in Bob Nutting's ex office. And I was just like kind of blown away for a minute. And then we sit down and we had ourselves a hell of a conversation, to be honest. We talk about everything from the history of the mountain, all the things that they have available to do up at Seven Springs. We talk about the buying of Seven Springs from Vail, which is obviously a bigger company that happened recently, but we get into that. We get into the personas of Bob Nutting and how, you know, some people in Pittsburgh might like him more than others. And then we talk about, you know, all the good he's done up there. And, you know, it was just a great conversation because it wasn't, for being a big company, I feel like people have to, like, you know, put on some sort of facade. But, like, you know, Alex was fantastic. We had a fun conversation. We talk about the pond skim. We talk about Mikey and Bob. We talk about, you know, skiing in general, how he's got involved with all this, how he's got involved with marketing and media. And, man, and I'll be honest, I have a relative that's worked at Seven Springs for, I don't even know how long, longer than I've been alive, I think, honestly. He was the head of the ski patrol, but before all this, he was a police officer in Washington, D.C. for the Drug Enforcement Agency long ago, back whenever D.C. was like, you know, a terrible, terrible place. But we talk about him. You know, he's a big name up at Seven Springs, so he makes an entrance into the conversation. And man, I could not be more happy with this episode. You know what I mean? I just feel like that there's great things happening with the podcast. I'm proud of where the podcast is going. You know, I get to run around holding a Turner's Tea flag and like, you know, singing their praises. And it's awesome. You know, after we had this interview, went out on top of the main lodge roof and, you know, took a nice photo, and I had a sip of a Turner's on top of the main lodge at Seven Springs while I was looking at the ski slopes, while I saw patrons descending down the ski slopes like nice snowflakes falling from the air. And man, a great one. But I'm going to stop talking off your ear, and I'm going to let you enjoy the conversation. I cannot thank Alex enough. I cannot thank Seven Springs enough, and I cannot thank all of you guys enough for, you know, taking the time to listen each and every week. So without further ado, episode 195 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with Alex Moser of Seven Springs.
I gotta use the telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. All right, so I appreciate you cutting some time out of your day to do this. It's Friday. I'm sure you guys are so busy up here. It's the thick of it right now.
We are in the middle of winter, man.
Now, and we just got a big snow.
It keeps snowing, and it's fantastic. I mean, we got that 16-inch storm last week, and now we've got peppered in with like 2 inches every day.
How much did you get up here?
We got, I mean, right now our base is probably around 45 to 60 inches.
45 to 60 inches of deep snow. Like, we're going to dive into all this logistical talk, because I'm curious, like, what is the average of, you know, what do you guys want the snow depth to be up here in a perfect world?
In a perfect world, probably around 60 inches base.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
What is the lowest it could be?
I mean, I think we've skied on 6 inches before.
Really?
Yeah, we call it, my boss here calls it peanut butter, but it's white, so I call it cream cheese. It's just literally a light covering of cream cheese on the grass.
Just enough to get past, just enough to let them go through. Okay, so you guys, I mean, I'm sure it's great whenever natural snow comes in.
Well, we love natural snow. Natural snow not only covers our slopes, but natural snow is the best friend of our marketing team, because when it snows in Pittsburgh, everybody starts thinking Seven Springs.
Yeah, we're going to go skiing.
Yeah, and in all markets. So when it snows in the city, it's huge, because sometimes there's many times when we have a ton of snow up here and there's nothing in the Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a big challenge of ours.
When does it start accumulating up here?
Well, we start making snow typically in early to mid-November. And with our goal typically is to open the day after Thanksgiving. And we've done that about 11 of my 13 years here.
Oh, wow. So that's not bad. That's not bad.
We call it White Friday. Everyone else is doing Black Friday shopping. We call it White Friday.
And
here.
it's usually a pretty good turnout. I don't know if I ever came up for opening day.
It's a huge turnout because this is a community up here.
Yeah, I know. This is a vibe up here. You know,
it
ski
is.
People, you know.
This is a way of life.
Yeah.
And
it's like boat people almost.
Exactly. But the thing is these guys don't see each other all summer long.
Yeah.
So it's the community comes back and it's opening day, you know, and even if they get one run in and go get a beer at the Goggle, that's a great way to kick off the winter season.
The legendary Foggy Goggle.
We call it the Venerable Fog.
The Venerable.
It's old and wise. And it's, that could be a whole section of this, Chad, because I think if those walls could talk, that would be a heck of a podcast.
So when did this place open? Like, when did Seven Springs become a place?
In the 30s.
30s.
Yeah.
And this was, you know, how many sets of owners did it go through?
Two until this recent acquisition by Vail. So the Dupreys owned it.
Dupreys. Okay.
They built this place. Adolph Dupre started this place. It was a farm, and he started to just create a couple slopes.
Yeah.
And they had it in the family for, probably 70 years. Was
it all kind of low key in the beginning? Obviously it needed time for it to build up.
It was low key. And I think at first when it opened, it was private too.
Oh, wow.
And then they started to open to the public, but piece by piece, they started to grow the resort, you know, and the Tyrol Lodge, which is now housing, you know, and lodging, a chalet, was the original ski lodge back in the day.
Really?
None of this was built, and apparently the ski lodge that's up now is the second ski lodge in that place. In the hotel, which we're kind of in right now. The tower was the last thing, so they built this piece by piece. And they originally had the original lodge, which is what it's called, and then they built a second lodge. Then they built the tower.
Do you have any idea how many acreage, like the acreage of this place?
At Seven Springs, we have 5,800 acres.
5,800.
Yeah, and to give you an idea, you can only ski on about 300 of those.
What is now all the other stuff? Like what is that? What is all the other area incumbent? I know that you guys got, there's trails, there's shooting, you guys have a full service up here.
We do. I mean, this is people call this place the cruise ship.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You park, you get on the cruise ship, and you never get back in your car until the end of the week.
Before you even dive into all this other stuff, I'm going to give you a backstory of this. So obviously, I have family that worked here for over a decade, and this was a part of my life. Like Seven Springs was a big part of my life.
It's awesome,
and it's we would come up here and we would I spent hours and hours bowling in the arcade. I cannot think of how much of my parents and my family's money that me and my cousins pissed away in that arcade. But
we thank you.
Yeah, I know that this place is just like, it really does hold like a big place to my heart. Like swimming, everything. We would just come up here because it really was like a cruise ship. Like
it's in your blood.
Anything you want up here.
We got in your blood.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And and like you said before, it's a vibe up here. You come up here, you're like, you get in that mood. It's a good time. But realistically, I was younger, so like I wasn't at the shooting ranges or anything like that. But that's all up here, right?
We have a lot of amenities. Sporting clays we put in about 13 years ago. 12 years ago. We added a spa around that time as well.
Yeah,
and of course we have the golf course, and then we also have here at Seven Springs we have 1,200 privately owned townhomes.
Oh yeah,
or condos, and so that's a lot of the
1,200.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and so that's a lot of the real estate too of the 5,800 acres. But there's so much. It's just mammoth.
Yeah. What is now? How many runs are total here?
We have 33 slopes and trails.
33 slopes and trails.
Right.
Now, how many are they all open at all times?
Oh no! Right now we have 30 of the 33.
Okay.
Right before the storm, 2.5 weeks ago, we had only like 7 slopes and trails because it was tough. Christmas week.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot.
It was in the 40s.
It was raining up here.
Rain kills us. Rain hurts us. Warm weather doesn't hurt us as much, other than we can't make snow.
Yeah, but
it doesn't melt the snow per se. But rain melts the snow.
Yeah, and it's just turns into bad conditions to do it in.
It can. It also can be a lot of fun actually because it creates some soft, slick conditions.
Well, you got to be built different to want to be going through that.
You do. You got to be what we call our core. You have to be one of our core to do that. But but right now we have 30 or 33, and I think we'll be close to completely opened, in the next few days because we've had some amazing snowmaking opportunities with these when the temperatures get in the teens, and then even single digit.
Yeah, it's ideal.
The HKD system that was snowmaking.
What does that mean?
Herman Crestapre.
Herman Crestapre. He invented snowmaking?
He invented the HKD snowmaking here at Seven Springs.
Oh, wow.
Which is worldwide. They're a worldwide company now.
This started here? Mm-hmm. Oh, shit, that's crazy.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah,
this is a podcast. That's right.
You can literally say whatever you want. I swear too much. My mother listens to all of them, and she's like, you said it too many times.
What's your mom's name?
Victoria.
Hi, Victoria. I'll make sure he doesn't swear too much.
She called me last night. She was like, what are you doing tomorrow? I was like, I'm going to be up Seven Springs. She was like, you're supposed to be working. I was like, I took off. This is worth it. And we're going to be up here, just living up here. This is the perks of the job for me to be able to weasel my way into places like this.
You didn't really weasel, though.
I didn't, to be fair, but I am persistent. I messaged the account way beforehand, and obviously I'm sure you guys get tagged and put into all kinds of stuff. So I was a little bit innovative. I went to the Ride Seven Springs account, messaged them, and I was like, yo, put me in contact with who I need to be in contact with. I knew I could call my Uncle Andy.
Well, that's the thing, is you have an uncle here and you didn't even use it. Kudos to you.
But that's why I want it. Like, yeah. I'm starting from the ground up. I don't need to I want to maneuver my way into it because you're not always going to have them relationships. You know what I mean? I like to build my own. Now, whenever he finds out that I was here doing that, I didn't have to ask him for help. He knows that I could get up there.
That's very cool because
he's one person that I've always sought respect from. You know what I mean? You have to. One time, this is a fun fact.
Well, why don't we? Can you give the background on Andy? Let's say who.
Andy
your uncle
Marenko.
is.
I don't even know if
He's head of mountain ambassadors here.
Head of mountain ambassadors.
Which mountain ambassadors are the guys that are working the lifts and making sure that everyone's safe getting on and off the lifts.
If there's tomfoolery up here, he is the one there snuffing it out.
Before he became mountain ambassador head, he was head of security.
Yeah, and that's there's. If the walls could talk up here, if Andy Marenko could talk. But so for him, the backstory, he grew up, he was a police officer in the narcotics division in DC in the time whenever that was the worst place in the United States. Just an all around badass, but he is so fun story on his property. They have acreage up there.
Right.
We would go and it was basically, farm life. I interviewed his son actually about his childhood growing up on a farm compared to like mine necessarily. Cause you don't have as much ease of access as places.
No.
He had a go-kart up there and we used to just rip around the property and I wrecked into one of his brand new pine trees that he planted. I've never been more scared in my entire life. And it's something that will stay with me forever. But he is some person that I've respected and been more and feared more than a lot.
We're very appreciative of all the hard work he's done
Hell
for
yeah.
us. I mean, he does everything that no one else wants to do.
You're never finding another person that is, and I think he's like 74.
Is he that old?
Maybe I shouldn't have told anyone that. He's wise. We'll say he's wise.
Yeah, he's wise and he's again, they don't make, like we said this off the air. They
don't make men like that anymore.
No way. We're a bunch of pansies.
We are. I'm always like, man, I'm embarrassed to be.
I mean, do you think Uncle Andy even understands what metrosexual means?
I don't know. I don't know if he understands what it means. I don't know if he understands like, the more progressive like end of it, people like, wearing tight jeans even, what I mean? It's interesting.
We should do like 20 questions with Andy.
It would be an interesting set of answers.
You should find somebody even younger than us to quiz him, like, a millennial interview with Andy Marenko.
That would be great.
Funny.
It would be great. He, he ran a tight ship, but it's like, I understand it. I understand it more as an adult, the way that he ran things, but,
there's people here like him that through the years I've been here 13 years, and there's people like him that just make it safe up here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example. It's like, or that's a perfect way to describe it. I feel safe. He's the right person.
Yep.
And, you don't really feel like that you're, I don't know. He's a saint for dealing with us too back in the day. Definitely made us, made us accountable and like turned us into what we needed to be, respectful, everything. He was a good hand in that.
Yeah, we need more mentors like that these days.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Now, so ski patrol and everything like that, I'm curious, do you have any idea of the amount of employees you guys have up here?
We have, at the height of winter across all three resorts.
Yeah.
In a normal year, pre-pandemic, we have about 2,100 employees.
2,100.
We are the largest employer in the region.
Really? Mm-hmm. So you said that there's 3 resorts. I know that there was Hidden Valley, Seven Springs,
and Laurel Mountain, which we reactivated 5 years ago. It's a public-private partnership with the state. State owns the land. We're the concessionaire and run the resort.
Laurel Mountain, and that's a ski resort.
Laurel Mountain is a ski area per se.
Area
because it doesn't have lodging.
Yeah.
It has a really cool lodge that we renovated. It's got a bar downstairs called Wildcat Lounge because Laurel Mountain is known for their Wildcat Slope, which is the steepest slope in the whole state of Pennsylvania. And
really,
there's over 20 ski areas in Pennsylvania. So that's significant.
Pretty good.
Pennsylvania is the 5th highest state with ski resorts.
Oh, wow.
I think it's Vermont, California. I can't remember, but
Colorado.
Colorado. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
Good one. I can't believe I missed that one. And, but Wildcat is the steepest slope. It's about 60% grade.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I think I can tell the story, and there's very little run out at the end.
Yeah.
So you really have to make like a hockey stop.
Yeah.
Or if not, you fly into the Mellon's backyard. I mean, because it's in Ligonier.
Yeah.
It's north of Ligonier. And I think it's north. It's up. It's up there, as you'd say in Pittsburgh. True story too. You don't know this, and I'll just say it. Go
ahead.
I was the voice of the pierogi race the first 6 years at PNC Park.
Really?
Yeah. So might have to break into some Pittsburghese at some point.
We'll definitely. I want to know more about how you got into here. Obviously, you've been here 13 years. It's like, how do you get into a position? Like, what is your title?
My title is Director of Marketing and Communications.
Okay, so I mean, obviously, you're a personable person. You know, you could tell you're a you got a charismatic person. It's like, how do you get into this? It's like, is this something that you always wanted to do?
No, it was my career path is very interesting, and I'll do it really quickly. Graduated from college.
Yeah.
Went to work at PNC Bank as a financial consultant for 3 years. Didn't want to wear a suit anymore. Had a friend who was working at the Toledo Mud Hens baseball team in Toledo, Ohio.
Toledo Mud Hens.
I went and interned there. At 25 years old, I was an intern, unpaid. Yeah. Did that for a year, loved it. Eventually, they got hired by the Buffalo Bisons, which is AAA baseball team for the Cleveland Indians at the time.
Yeah.
I forget who it is now. I think it's the Mets or Blue Jays. Was there for 2 years. Then I went to work for the Washington Wizards and Capitals in D.C.
Wow.
For 1 year. Wasn't looking to leave. Loved D.C. I mean, I was 29 and single in D.C. I was having the time of my life.
D.C. is not a bad spot.
No. And what happened was my hometown was building a new ballpark for baseball. And the Pirates called me and asked if I was interested in running this video board.
Yeah.
So I went, and so 2000, I moved back to Pittsburgh, worked for the Pirates for 10 years. During that time, the Nutting family, who was part owners, bought Seven Springs, and their director of marketing left, asked if I was interested. I said, no, I'm staying in sports.
Yeah.
I said, this is an opportunity for you to run your own marketing team. So I took it. And I've been here for 13 years. And
wow,
what's really nice and what's really nice about it is I got to mentor so many people in marketing. That's been my favorite part. But it's an iconic brand in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Seven Springs is an iconic brand in Pittsburgh.
For sure.
Maybe not nationwide. I know that.
Yeah, but I mean, whenever you think about the big names in Pittsburgh, Seven Springs is up there, Turner's, Eden Park, stuff like that. Yeah.
True story though, Chad. I've gone out west to resorts, and so have many of the people that work here wearing Seven Springs shirt. It's unbelievable how many times we get stopped.
Oh yeah.
So it's like Seven Springs fed the entire ski industry in the United States.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting point. I mean, Pittsburgh holds Pittsburgh and its entities hold a certain presence across the United States. I mean, across the world, really.
Do you know why, too? I think Pittsburghers, and we're talking about this.
Genuine. We're authentic. Authentic.
Bingo.
Authentic is such an overused, gross word now, but I mean, Pittsburgh people are authentic.
True story. I moved back here from D.C. That was my last stop. And, D.C.'s pretty cosmopolitan and a little faster, kind of a rat race.
Yeah.
Moved back to Pittsburgh, and I ordered my brother a Heinz Ward jersey when I first moved back to Pittsburgh. So it was Chatham Sports downtown. They're long gone.
Yeah, gone.
And I said to them, do you have a Heinz Ward jersey in the size for my brother? And it's like, we ain't got none unless she's 300 pounds. And I'm like, welcome back to Pittsburgh. It's so authentic.
Yeah, it's there's a certain beauty and grace with the way that people go through everything.
You know what? They're real. Yeah, they're nice. They're kind. Yeah. Pittsburgh is one. I mean, forget all the things that have happened. Maybe in Squirrel Hill the last couple of years too. Yeah. It's a nice, kind city.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like at all wherever you go, it depends on who you ask, what you ask about. But generally, I mean, Pittsburgh is not a bad place. I love it because I've traveled a little bit. I've went to California and had that taste of how crazy that is, driving through 4-lane traffic, and that's just not for me. I'm more I want to stay in my house. I want a little piece of land.
Yeah.
I'm more that way. And to be honest, Andy was a big attributor to that.
Yeah.
I loved him. I loved him having his own slice of spot up there.
How long are we together here today?
They usually run about an hour and a half. You got time? Tell me a story.
No. I was going to say, I'm wondering how many times it comes back to Andy through this whole episode.
I mean, it's a big time in life. I'm telling you, up here, even if we didn't go on vacation and stuff like that as a family, my brother and me would come up here and spend, a week, 2 weeks up here just living with them.
That's awesome.
And it was just fun because this was a vibe. We were part of this.
So when did you start skiing?
I started skiing whenever I was probably 7 or 8, and I did not gravitate to it like the rest of them, because obviously Andy's kids were downhill speed skiing and that was just crazy. My brother's 6 years older than me, so he was skiing way younger. Like Andy started him super young, and he was just he does all the wild shit. I could get from the top of the slope down confidently, and I could give a little couple hockey stops, but that's about it for me. I in the past few years of me, I switched to snowboarding.
You look more like a snowboarder.
I carry that maybe subculture and that style, but
yeah, you're a dude.
We were shunned as younger kids because Andy would steer us away from snowboarding. One time I saved a snowboarder today. He fell and his eye fell out of his head and it was hanging off of his head. I swear on my life that's a true story, and told us, you guys can't be snowboarding.
That sounds like an old fable or something.
It probably was.
You snowboard, young lad, you're going to lose your eye.
Swear to God. His son is going to listen to this, and he's going to remember that story because that was like one of the iconic ones that he told us.
It's like Ralphie from Christmas Story. You're going to poke your eye out with that thing.
That was definitely the vibe of it all.
But that's interesting because I've been here long enough where I've seen the acceptance come for snowboarders.
Yeah.
Finally, I was here during that time. I saw the beginning when I got here. Snowboarders weren't real loved. It was. And you know what? I kind of told people that didn't like snowboarders. I said, that's almost as not liking a snowboarder. I've said this to people. It's like almost like you're a racist.
Yeah.
It's like you're not
judgmental.
You're being judgmental. You're not liking somebody for their lifestyle.
Yeah, judging a book by a cover.
Yeah, and
we're in the world now where you can't do that.
No, and our terrain parks. So we're known by our terrain parks.
Believe me, we're getting into that too.
Yeah, so we saw a lot of growth with snowboarding. In our terrain parks, but then we actually saw freestyle skiing coming back in.
Yeah.
So we see almost 50% across skiers versus snowboarders in our terrain parks.
Now, for you to, talk about like the percentage, like what do you think? Do you think there's still more people that ski than snowboard, or do you think it's kind of a 50-50?
I think it's about 60-40 skiers to snowboarders right now. And that's probably industry standard.
Yeah.
It may be 55-45. I'm doing math here.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. But
spitballing.
Yeah, exactly. No calculator needed. But yeah, it's around 60 to 55 skiers.
It seems to be more of a blend for sure. I remember in my middle school we had ski club, and every Saturday for like 5 weeks you would go pull up to the middle school at like 6:30 in the morning, take a Greyhound up to Hidden Valley before you guys purchased it, to be fair. And we would go up there, but it was such like a fun time. So skiing was definitely like a thing that we did every year. Me and my brother both were involved in it, but back then even, it was more skiing, and this was like 2000 this is like 2001, 2002. Yep. So it's like, it was definitely, there was only a couple people snowboarding while we were doing it, but now you see a lot more.
You do, and it has its advantages.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, from a standpoint, at least with the kids, when I bring my boys up, it's they can walk in their boots fine.
Yeah.
And
1,000,000% better.
And all they have to do is carry their board. There's no poles.
So your kids snowboard.
They snowboard. They play basketball a lot though, so that doesn't really mesh well with ski season.
Yeah.
But my point is that it's that part's easy. Now the big difference is whether you're going forward or sideways.
Yeah. That's exactly it. What do you do?
I snowboard very poorly.
Yeah.
I try to. And at my age, it's very humbling to be on the ground a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So I ski. I would call myself an intermediate skier, though I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I hadn't skied, so I learned to ski at Hidden Valley like you.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I graduated from college, and then the last time I skied, I think it was in Mount Snow, Vermont.
Okay.
In college.
Yeah, big dog skiing.
Yeah, and it was wonderful. But I didn't ski after that until I started working here in 2009.
But it's really like riding a bike skiing.
No question about it. And you know what? The pandemic, because there was not much to do last winter.
Yeah.
So many people said that because they hadn't skied in a while. We call those lapsed skiers.
Yeah.
They got back into the sport and they loved it.
Yeah, it's outdoors,
We were set up perfectly
Absolutely.
for the pandemic. Who knew?
Yeah, it's interesting because like I'll interview different people that have different jobs, and it's interesting to hear how people navigated that time with the different careers. Like some chefs talk about how difficult it was because, they might have a higher end restaurant that is not designed to be takeout, but then like I'm real good friends with like Badamo's Pizza, and that's like, they're made for it. Pizza is made to be a takeout. So some people kind of like, it kind of like pivoted and it worked out a little bit better.
Permanis, and I happen to be friends with the president of Permanis.
Do you?
And who you should talk to. That'd be a good one.
I already got emails, right, too. I'm waiting for the email back from their marketing guy.
Adam Gollum is their president, and he's their marketing guy as well.
I'm talking to Ryan.
And I don't know him yet, but
I'll get there.
I'll hook you up.
I'll get there.
But anyway, they did a ghost kitchen.
Yeah.
So what's a ghost kitchen? So they created a new brand of pizza.
Yeah.
I forget what it was like. It was like 3-2-1 or something. That stuff was brilliant, and we did the same thing here.
Oh yeah.
Not so much a ghost kitchen, but if you remember, December of last year, there was no inside dining allowed.
Yeah, no inside dining.
So get ready for this. This is going to blow your mind. You might have seen this. One thing we did is we ripped the windows off the Foggy Goggle.
I did see that.
And made it open air. We got approval from the governor's office to consider that open air. We jacked the heat up.
Yeah.
And people were able to enjoy the Foggy. The bars were closed.
Yeah.
But they were able to sit down and have a beer.
That's awesome.
With a meal. And then we also added three takeout windows, one in the Foggy Deck and then two down in the ski lodge that, I can't, we've changed it so many times. I think one was waffles and one was mac and cheese and one was chili. One was sandwiches.
Now, what was obviously it's like a crazy time to try to deal with a pandemic. So for you guys to do this, like you said, you're obviously like set up for success here because we're all outside. It's like, what were some of the bad things that you had to deal with?
Lodging.
I guess lodging.
Yeah. I mean, we lodging, that was a challenge. You know what the other big challenge was, Chad, is our employees were put into a position to be mask police.
Yeah.
And that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is uncomfortable.
Most of our guests were amazing and understood it and got it. And we were in a pandemic and we've got to protect ourselves. But there's those few bad apples, that just puts it. So this year we're not playing mask police this year.
Yeah,
we encourage it, but our employees are wearing masks.
Yeah,
but it's too hard.
I know it is hard, and it's like it's almost more harm than it is to try to enforce that because you're causing rift.
Well, and our lifties, we got to pay attention to safety and make sure they get on the lifts right. So we were asking them to try to enforce it. We had extra people, which is not easy to find right now too. And we were going to, what's the return on the investment?
Well, when you say that you were having mask police, like people had to wear masks on the slope skiing down? No,
in the lift lines though. Okay. We were following, there's a overriding organization called the National Ski Area Association, NSAA.
Okay.
They're kind of, I wouldn't say they're the governing body, but they help all of the resorts in the ski industry.
Yeah.
And they put out guidelines. And one of the guidelines was we recommend wearing a mask in line.
Yeah. Which is understandable.
Yeah. But no, we did not ask people to wear masks on the slopes unless they were within 6 feet of somebody, which, I mean,
it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. So I'm glad that's all over.
It is. And
our employees too are.
I mean, but it's weird because like that was a reality for a long time. You know what I mean? Like I have gotten it in public. I was driving a rental car and I didn't have a mask in my car. And then I had to run into Giant Eagle and some lady stopped me and just like scolded me. And it's like, I'm considerate about it. Like if I'm going into Giant Eagle, I'll wear some shit, but it's like, if you're skiing down a slope,
right?
Come on.
Well, and you know what? It was just, at my age, I don't want a lot of battles.
Yeah.
So
you pick your battles.
If Giant Eagle says Giant Eagle tells me to wear a mask, I just put a mask on.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not, and I don't care.
I'm tired. I don't have time for it. Exactly. I wish I had time for it.
No, there's plenty of other bigger concerns to fight.
Bigger fish or fry.
Yeah. I mean, how about, there's people going hungry right now. Let's fight about that. Let's put our energy into something like that.
It really isn't. Frick Park Bridge just fell down today.
Is that unbelievable?
How crazy is that? I just drove across it the other day. And it's very weird.
I just saw a picture of that. I cannot believe that.
Reminds me of the Mothman prophecies.
Yeah. My kids, we played Little League. I mean, I played Little League.
I know.
That's the 14th Ward baseball field right there.
It's very weird that is just like something that happened.
What was the restaurant there? Or what was the bar there? It was so great. I can't remember.
I have no idea.
It closed. I'll have to look that up.
It's just weird what's
Ryan's
going on.
Pub. Ryan's Pub was right there. That place was awesome. Yeah, you're too young.
Yeah, I am too young. Shout out to Ryan's Pub, though. You think Ryan's still alive?
I don't know if there is a Ryan, but I hope so.
Let's hope that Ryan's
that place
alive.
Was a rock. That was rocking then back in the day.
Now, I mean, for today we're up here. It's Friday right now. You said,
where are we sitting? You want to say?
Yeah, I didn't know if I could. We're sitting in Bob Nutting's old office.
We're sitting in our owner's old office. He vacated it, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But,
yeah.
So we are sitting in his old office, which just has a conference room. It's not very exciting anymore, but
it's exciting.
It has a great view, though.
I swear to God, we were talking whenever you were outside. Me and my buddy we were just just like, imagine just being able to sit here and have this view.
Well, this is the view my office has too. It's just across the way.
No big deal or
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. So it's no. It's
This ain't a bad office for
No.
you to have, like a bad work environment up here on the mountain.
On my Twitter feed, I always put like office views.
Yeah,
Hashtag
office
office
views.
views and take pictures because I know nobody else has it. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to grow my followers. I'm just trying to put something interesting
All right,
out
you're
there.
just having a good time.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Not only do we want people to come ski here, we want them to have a good time. We want them to laugh.
Yeah, I love companies that entertain, the games online and have fun online. I saw something on Reddit the other day of a teacher that said, if we can get a pro team to comment on this TikTok, you guys won't have to take your final. And there was everyone
That's
on there.
awesome.
It was like, there was like State Farm, Jake from State Farm, and you see a bunch of blue check marks and like you had
I'll have to look that
everyone.
up.
Yeah, it was so cool to see because it's like, realistically, people want that fun,
Especially now.
I know, and especially so. Look, I'm a professional. Roll right into it. So recently, you guys, you guys did this. You guys did this video.
So
and
yeah, but we've been doing videos. So let me back up, Chad. We've been doing daily snow report videos for 13 years.
yeah,
We were probably one of the first resorts to start doing this.
Yeah.
I think some resorts caught on and then they've already stopped doing it.
Okay.
So we've been doing it. So this year we just decided, well, let's just have some fun.
yeah,
And that's what it's all about. It's a fun place to be.
It is.
And so Abby Way, who's our social media manager extraordinaire, and she's the most amazing person on camera. She can talk for hours
the
on
face
camera.
of the videos.
She's the face of this brand.
Yeah,
I mean, she is Seven Springs. If you see her today, you'll see a mob. She's like a rock star. So she does these videos every day on camera. And what we did, we just started to sneak some things in behind her.
yeah.
And so early on, we had, it was raining one day and we had somebody in a kayak.
Oh my God, I
On
didn't
the
even know.
snow.
I don't know if I've seen it.
I'll show you that one. And then, day before Christmas, we had a little, and Abby doesn't know half the time what's going on behind
Yeah.
her, which is beautiful.
That's the best part about it.
So one of my favorite ones later was we had the Grinch. We had somebody dressed up as a Grinch and somebody dressed up as an elf, and the elf decked the Grinch in the background because violence. I mean, I know that from my pierogi race days. Violence loves.
Yeah.
Everyone loves violence.
Pierogi races are violent.
So we've been doing, yeah, exactly. So we've been doing that, and we had somebody do a snow angel. So the team, my team, which is Molly Coney Beer, that's her
Yeah.
name, which is a great name.
Yeah,
She is our videographer. Abby Way is our social media manager. And then Candace Weaver, who I'll get to in a minute, is basically our slapstick actress.
yeah.
She was in the kayak. They did something last Thursday, and they had her walking down steps towards the slopes, and just on purpose slipping, falling, holding on to the railing with dear life. Stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, hilarious, stupid.
Yeah.
Abby had no idea what was going on in the background. Well, the next thing we know, it went viral.
Catches
within-
on fire.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think we're at 12 million views on Twitter. Rex Chapman, who's got a huge following, ex-basketball player.
I didn't even know who that guy was.
He played for Kentucky and then the NBA.
I don't know anything about sports
Yeah.
really, but I always see that guy. Anytime I see he's almost like a Reddit page. Anything current in the news,
Yep.
he's retweeting.
Yeah, no, Rex is, I remember him as a college athlete. Now he's got 1.1 million followers on Twitter.
And I see a lot of shit just from him.
Yeah, no, and he's content.
Yeah, so
so we had hit, and then Instagram blew up, and so we're at about 55 million views. Good Morning America asked for the video footage. KTLA in Los Angeles asked for the footage. Weather Channel ran it. Good Morning America. Did I say Good Morning America? Today Show.
Oh, my
it was on the Today Show
goodness.
website. I was interviewed a couple of times, which is ridiculous. I'm getting interviewed over this silly video.
I know.
And it made front page of the Trib.
Well,
here.
what's weird about it is I seen it on Reddit. Okay, so I saw this on Reddit, but I didn't know it was Seven Springs.
A lot of people said that.
Because it was on I forget what subreddit it was, and I was watching
R
it.
Funny. Was it on the R Funny subreddit or something?
One of them,
Yeah.
or just vids or something like that, or Contagious Laughter. It was.
Okay.
It was under Contagious Laughter, and I saw it going down, and I was like, "This looks so familiar." And then I look in the background, and I was like, "That's Seven.
That's
it's
Polar
Seven
Bear.
Springs
That was a
right
Polar
there."
Bear lift right there.
And
Yeah.
and I was like, "This is insane," because on Reddit you have like all these people comment, and I'm like, "That's just wild." For a brand like this. Obviously, like, to have Instagram and be involved in media is like, it's bread and butter. You have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
For having something like this catch on fire, it's like, is that like something that is just like, obviously it's unexpected, but how big of a deal is that?
It's a huge deal for this brand.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Like, do you notice a needle move of like people following stuff? People like,
yes. I mean, I noticed our followers instantly moved up on Twitter.
That's what's up.
We went from like 18,000 followers on Twitter to like 21,000.
Yeah.
I saw Instagram growth. We're waiting for this to simmer a little bit, and then we're going to do a full report on what our attraction was. And it's hard to totally gauge because our hotel's sold out this weekend.
Yeah.
Which is good news.
Yeah, it's great.
But it's been a unique experience. But to be interviewed and quoted and then see it like the New Delhi newspaper in New Delhi, India picked it up. And so to see my name in that and show up on Google Alerts, it's been
just weird that this is what media is, what news is now.
We feel like we've done way more better videos over the years than this one, and this is the one that stuck.
Yeah, and it is weird because some things just pop whenever you don't expect it. It's like some things that you're like, this is going to be the best one.
Well, if you ever, and then again, all you marketers out there, if you ever have bosses that orders you to make something go viral, just leave.
Yeah,
because that's not how it works.
Can't do it.
No, it's not how it works.
But I feel like that thing spread like wildfire, and I think that is that's just like, you guys obviously don't expect that.
No, and you know what? It was good for us, but it's good for the industry too in a weird way.
Yeah,
in a weird way, it was like, that's hilarious. Gosh, maybe we should go skiing.
Yeah,
we haven't gone skiing in a while.
Skiing.
Yeah.
I feel like now for you to say, like, we were talking about how it's a vibe up here, like this is a culture up here. It's like, how many people do you think are maybe this is a weird question, but how many new people do you think are here? It's like, do you think a lot of people are just returning customers, obviously, but
a good portion are. However, last winter was good for us, though. Yeah. So many people sought out skiing. Just there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Can't go to your gym.
Is there a way that you're able to like tell if they're new people?
We can gauge it a little bit. It's not so scientific, but we can gauge it by first-time lift ticket buyers. We can tell if you've never bought a lift ticket or had a pass before. Take some digging, but we have analytics. And then also lessons.
Yeah.
We know first-time lesson takers.
That's a good point.
We know
lessons.
that. And we had, I don't know what our numbers are off the top of my head, Chad, from last winter, but we know we had a really good winter here.
That's great.
Last year.
Well, that's like, it brings you to the next point. It's like, obviously, Seven Springs, bread and butter, skiing, snowboarding, wintertime.
Yeah.
The off season. What is it like here in the off season?
There is no off season, baby.
Yeah. Well, it's open here, but you don't have slopes of just, snow packed with snow, but you guys do the alpine slide.
I'll take you through. You want me to take you through something?
I want to know what it is.
So typically we'll stop skiing around April, but right before April is the best event ever. The end of March is Pond Skim.
No, absolutely
best event
insane.
Ever.
Last year, is that person alive?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody's fine.
Great.
Were you here?
No, but I seen it as long as everyone else did.
Yeah, thank God that didn't go viral.
Crazy.
So we'll hopefully have Pond Skim. We're waiting on some details on that.
Okay.
But Pond Skim, basically, so everyone knows.
You realize that if the Pond Skim doesn't happen, that this place will...
Oh, I know.
It'll be bad.
I am speaking to the new owners about that.
Okay.
And explaining to them because they're very...
They need to know that is like, that's a legendary thing up
Signature
here.
event.
You guys got to get Mikey and Bob back here, too, to do it.
I know. They're the best.
They are.
Do you know those guys?
Yeah, I interviewed them.
Oh, you did? I missed that one.
Oh, yeah. This was maybe 2 years ago.
So let's hold off on Pond Skim for a second. Let's talk about Mikey and Bob for a second. Can we?
Talk to me about them.
Those guys are amazing.
What they do for radio in the world that we're in today is what's amazing about it.
They're amazing in that. They're also amazing as pitchmen.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to think of themselves as that.
Well, want to know why they're so amazing is because they don't have handlers that tell them what they can and cannot do.
Correct.
If they want to have Bob naked with, pieces of salami on his tits and they're marketing Gitgo, they're running with it.
True or false? You've seen Bob naked more than your wife.
100%.
Yeah, my wife too.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
And I think, if you go to the Penguin game, I think you could check that box off if you go to one Penguin game.
Want to talk about an iconic brand? Mikey and Bob have become a Pittsburgh iconic brand.
Absolutely. They've been here for a while. It's wild to hear about their start of everything. They're really not even from here.
No, they're friends from Detroit.
Yeah.
They grew up together.
And it's cool to do that. That was obviously one of the bigger episodes because people hear Mikey and Bob and it was before. It was whenever I was still kind of green at this.
Okay.
But it went well. And it was like we talk about Mikey. we talk about Eileen from Blawnox and what happened there and everything. Yeah. And it's just like... It's interesting, but the pitch skills that they got, unreal.
We use them.
I know you do. That's why I brought it up.
I wonder if you can splice in some of their ads because they're amazing. They do the Seven Springs of Snow. That's where you got to go.
Bob, you love Seven Springs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go! Seven Springs at Snow! That's where you wanna go! Seven Springs at Snow! That's where you wanna go! Let's go! Seven Springs at Snow! That's where you wanna go! Seven Springs at Snow! That's where you wanna go! Seven Springs at Snow! That's where you wanna go! Ah!
They wrote that.
So-
I didn't write that. That wasn't my genius.
I actually linked up with them pretty early on. I linked up with them through the Kiss FM pen section.
Okay.
The freak show section.
Freak show, yeah.
So I was there and I smuggled in a cowbell and a drumstick and I was dressed as a penguin and I was on the Jumbotron a million times that night. So every time they had the pen section after that, they would slide in the DMs and say, "You want to come back?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, we're going." So they were cool like that. And then I ended up entering a giveaway with them for passes up here. Ended up winning, came up, hung out with them here
At our freak show.
Yeah, at our freak show.
Yeah, we had freak show here for years.
And,
yeah, that's how we first met them.
That's where I was at the Foggy Goggle, and I was up there, and that was just it was a wild time.
Those guys are getting a little bit old for their activities up here. So in the pandemic, we stopped doing that, but I gave them free reign too. And to your point, there's no handlers. Josh Haas, who's at iHeart, is their sales rep.
Yeah.
Great dude. And he lets them go. So they did several spots for us. One was that chant. They do but they do brag about me too, because I understand their characters.
Yeah.
So I had them do a bunch of ads in character. So I have them doing office lady spots for here.
Oh, yeah.
Then they do, you know how sometimes they act like rich guys?
Oh, yeah.
So I had them do a spot like that. Those have been really successful. And then, you know, I have a friend who works at Carlow University.
Yeah.
And he was asking for some help too. So they hooked up with each other and they do the fish fry, you know, when they do the fish fry, they do monster truck.
It's the best.
Well, they did that for Carlow with all of their majors.
Oh, really?
It's just hilarious.
Yeah.
So that's been running. So they're really great guys too, and they're super nice guys.
That's what they are. They're nice and genuine, and like that's what's fun about them is that they
no ego. They know what they're doing means very little. You know what I mean? It's not. They're not saving any lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no ego. They kind of go with it because they know that that's what people want. That's what people don't want. Like the nationally syndicated, like all just cookie cutter stuff. They want to hear about Florida people,
Florida stories.
They want to hear Florida stories, everything like that.
I am. When I retire, I told them. I said I want to start an advertising agency with those two.
Oh yeah, it would be. I mean, I just saw their most recent one.
You can be our producer.
Let's do it. I mean, I'm trying to get out of my job and I'm trying to make this.
Do you know how to edit too? So you edit these too?
I'm a one-man show.
What do you edit it in?
I edit in Reaper.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a one-man show. I started this off and then I refined myself. This was very rudimentary before. I would kick my wife out of my house for like 3 hours at a time.
That's never recommended,
I had
by the way,
Rick
Chad.
Seaback sweating to death in my old apartment with no AC. It was terrible.
Well, he sweats anyway.
He does, but this was terrible. My house was probably like 72. We're just sweating to death in there talking. But I came a long way. You know, now we're sitting Bob Nutting's ex-office.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Now, so I'm curious about this. I feel like, you know, the talks of the mountain being sold, you know, you've always heard about it happening maybe, but it actually happened.
It did. And I'll tell you, so we owned it for 15 years. 2006, we purchased it from the Dupre family.
Yeah.
And we spent a couple years, and I wasn't here yet. I was with the Pittsburgh Pirates still.
Yeah.
And we watched everything. We really didn't make any changes. And then about 2008, we brought in Eric Mock from Ogilvy Resort in West Virginia to be our CEO.
I didn't know that.
And he he has an incredible vision. And he and Bob just started moving this resort into the 21st century. Yeah. And, you know, the improvements, I don't know if we have enough time, even in your episode here, to go through the improvements, but, you know, we renovated the hotel twice. We put in a state-of-the-art spa. We put in a sporting clays facility that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in East Liberty. I never shot a gun before.
I know.
I was against it too. And I went up there begrudgingly because, I mean, I work here. I have to learn. It is so much fun.
Oh, it's great.
It's safe. It's really a nice way to spend a couple hours.
Too.
Yeah, it is a release, and you can get the hang of it. It's not like golf. You can get the hang of it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to equate it. Golf is not something you can just pick up and do.
No, unless you're, an amazing athlete. And
but sporting clays, you know, you can give someone and just kind of put the beat on there, you know, and they could sometimes do it.
Yeah. So we did. We renovated a lot of the dining spaces. We renovated the Foggy Goggle. We renovated all of our conference space, and all that was done. And you know, and We improved the snowmaking. We added 2 lifts in that time, 2 new chairlifts, Gunner and now Avalanche this year.
Yeah.
So I can tell you this, and I know that Bob Nutting's known as the Pirates owner and has taken some criticism, but as an owner here that you can see the tangible results. And you saw it for a couple of years at the Pirates, 13, 14, and 15, which is a lot of fun, but it just didn't last long enough. But here, I can tell you he is incredibly proud of the stewardship of the resorts here. And I mean, he I don't know what caused him to sell. He's always been very fond of Vail.
Yeah.
He knows people there. And I think
How old is he?
Bob? He's 50 something.
Oh yeah,
he's not that old.
I mean,
he's a pretty cool guy too. People only know him.
I get it. He gets a bad rap for sure, but it's also like the people that are bitching about stuff. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Like things might not be easy.
There's some things too that he may have held on to the last regime at the Pirates a little too long because he was too loyal to him. But he was loyal to him. So damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I get it.
But here I can tell you through the years he's been incredible to me as a person and me as my family. I mean, my wife went through a bout of cancer, and I no questions asked. Took 3 weeks off, paid.
That's great to hear.
Sent flowers to his family. Sent flowers. I mean, those are the things you remember. He just he does take care of people.
I mean, that's great to hear. I often equate it. People that always get criticism, it's like, Marc-Andre Fleury can make a million great saves on his head. It's the one that he lets in where people are like, get rid of him every day.
I mean, look at the quarterback. People are going to be, the grass ain't greener.
And
the
it all
grass
happens.
is not greener.
You want to know what it all bends down, or what it all goes down to is the passion that the Pittsburgh people have.
I know. And that's the thing is if the minute they stop caring is when you really have a problem.
It's passion.
I always said that so I was at the Pirates from 2000 to 2008.
Any winning season?
None, zero. Okay. Zip, zero, null set.
Yeah.
So
what's it like to work in an organization that's almost kind of like the Indians from Major League? It's like you guys obviously know that like it's the bottom of the barrel kind of.
Do you know I was at a different time in my life, Chad? I was single.
Yeah.
So everything was about me.
Yeah.
So I was selfish to a degree, I would guess, and I was trying to build my career.
Yeah.
But it was hard. I mean,
all that aside, it's like for you to have a squad that you can't really, like I was a captain of my football team. We didn't win a game my senior year. I get what that feels like. It kind of sucked, but it's like for you to be involved with that, obviously it's cool. You got a job for a sports team, but if you guys know that yins are just like not winning,
we had to work a hell of a lot harder in the marketing department. That's for sure. And sky blasts and
that's a good point.
Giveaways. And so on my resume, it looks darn good actually, because we got people into that ballpark. I mean, frankly, the new ballpark that first year was just explosive because people wanted to be in that new ballpark, which
Absolutely.
is an amazing place to watch a game.
Oh my God. Even
you said you're not a sports fan. You'll go to the
PNC Park is second to none.
Yeah. So I ran the video board for the first few years, and again, so I was the voice of the pierogi race and I did the narration. They stopped using the yins. So believe it or not, my parents were very embarrassed by it, but
the yins are,
well, they weren't embarrassed. They're like, oh, okay, 4 years of college for that.
Yeah.
I did that, jalapeno Hannah, sauerkraut Saul.
Did you guys always have a script of who was going to win?
No. There were some times where we said straight race.
Okay.
So they just let them race. Now, and the other cool thing is, so the first year of the ballpark was also the year 9/11 happened.
Oh my goodness.
So we had a week off after that happened. And we came back and played the last week of the season. And the last game of the season, my boss, myself, and somebody underneath me, we went and ran the pierogi race. And I have the video. I should probably give to you.
You were in a pierogi?
I was jalapeno Hannah, and it was nobody finished.
I bet
because we all started brawling as soon as we got on the field.
So when the people that are in them, is there specific people, or can you volunteer and do it?
You can't volunteer. They typically are part of like the
grounds crew.
No, what is it? The Cannonball Crew now, or Bucko Brigade, or whatever that is.
Okay.
People that shoot stuff and
almost like the the ice crew.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
but we'll have guests. I mean, I'm not sure I can say that if Bob Walk or one of the other announcers might have been in a costume once in a while.
That's what's up.
Yes, it was pretty cool. It was fun.
I've always been curious about that. I've been trying to get Iceberg on here, but the guy who plays Iceberg is not able to do it. The Penguins organization want him to remain anonymous, but it was cool to know that me and him were emailing back and forth. And
I know him.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he's still the current one.
Yeah, it's
So you know what his son is doing, right?
Well, I know that he's part of it sometimes, right?
No, his son is the Pirates.
Oh, is he?
His son may or may not be the Parrot.
Oh my God! No way.
Can you believe that?
Oh,
I hope we're not unearthing anything that people don't want to know. I can tell you, he's a super nice kid.
I hear that they're both.
Oh, I know. He used to fill in for us if our first Parrot.
I heard that they were both great people, and they were more than entertained by this.
We'll follow the rules, and I can ask the Pirates if they're comfortable as well. I still have a direct line there.
No big deal.
Since we're owned by the same company.
Big deal. Okay, so for you to get involved up here and like kind of be the marketing guy, it's like, what was your extent of marketing, education? Are you
none? I figured I was an English major, so I went to a small school in Lancaster, Pennsylvania called Franklin and Marshall.
What did you want to do before you got into all this? Did you, as a kid, because 99% of the people that I have in here and I ask, what they're doing now, they didn't plan on doing this, so they just kind of fell into it. What was your first dreams?
I didn't have any. I just wanted to make some money and go to the South Side and have a good time.
Amen.
Lived in Shady Side, I didn't really know. Yeah. Ironically, though, I did intern one summer at an advertising agency called Hallmark Advertising, which is across the street from the arena. Now it's called 10 United. I think it's still called 10 United. They change names all the time. So that was a lot of fun, and I got to learn stuff. And but I didn't. I also painted houses in the summer. So my father had a furniture store in Squirrel Hill, so I thought maybe I'd go into that. But so I didn't really know. And what happened was I went into banking for a couple of years because I needed a job.
Yeah.
And I did that for a couple of years, and then again, I ran into a friend who had a college roommate that was
kind of spider-webbed,
that worked in Toledo for the baseball team. So I always loved baseball. I adored baseball. Baseball was the one thing my dad and I could talk about together.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting. I'm 49 years old. I'm still waiting for the birds and the bees conversation. I never had it, so baseball was our bond.
Yeah.
And I always loved baseball. In fact, when I was born at McGee Hospital, they went down and bought tickets to the Pirate game before they even brought me home.
Oh my God.
So I was destined to probably work at the Pirates.
Yeah. But sports was something that your interest.
I love sports. And you know what? Back in the day, I loved the glory of it. Now I love sports, but what I really love is marketing.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because you got to have a certain muscle for this because, as someone, you said you're what, 49?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, I'm not saying you're old, but like you're of a generation where you didn't have social media really.
No, back when I first started, we bought to buy advertising. You buy radio, you buy TV, you buy a newspaper, and you buy a billboard, and you're done.
Yeah, so it's like, back then it was kind of like just outlets that you had to like find them people and just kind of like set it and forget it. Yeah. But now, you're kind of like, you're guerrilla marketing, you're self-made with this kind of.
And the digital marketing too. I mean, we're constantly trying to figure out what websites we should get our message on. And there's a lot, and the social media is a huge beast between organic, which is, when you just post versus paid where we pay for it. We do both. And yeah, but you know what the great thing is about me, and I hate to say it, that sounds so conceited. I have younger people on my team, and I trust them, and I let them do their thing, and
they keep you in the loop. I'm sure.
I'm not a boss; I'm a leader.
Yeah,
and that's why my team is so good, is because I've let them do their thing. I've let them learn. I've let them make mistakes.
Well, that's
so good.
That's what sets aside someone you want to work with and someone you just are, you want to get away from.
We're here too much. We're together too much. We don't.
I never understood. That's why I enjoy the people that I work for. I'm not crazy micromanage. They'll. You know what I mean? That's the worst way. And I feel like over the years, people should understand that, like, if you're micromanaging, no one wants to be like that.
But you're also of the age, Chad, too, now that you're getting to the point where you understand it's not all about you.
Yeah, for sure.
We're here for the company.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's best for Seven Springs?
Yeah. And obviously you've been here long enough, and everyone that I've worked with, they've been over there like 20 years. So you could tell by how long people have been there that it's a good place to be. You know what I mean?
This culture here is incredible.
Yeah, I'm
culture
sure it's
working
infectious.
here. It's incredibly. Everybody works together.
Yeah.
Everybody is truly, we might not be the most polished up here.
Yeah.
But we are so real and so authentic, as we were saying earlier, and everyone's got a heart of gold here.
Yeah.
And everyone really, truly cares about the guest experience here.
Yeah, they understand. Many hands make light work.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it boils down to.
So should we talk about the transaction?
Yeah.
I don't know what we call it, transaction. But so Vail, and we announced around early December that Vail Resorts was going to purchase Seven Springs, Hidden Valley, and Laurel Mountain.
Yeah.
And then December 31st, they closed on the transaction. The transaction happened. Bob Nutting and Eric Mock, our CEO, felt very strongly that they didn't want to displace anybody during the holidays and during the winter.
Yeah.
So we signed what's called a service agreement with Vail to operate through the end of ski season. Then Vail would actually take over.
Okay.
So again, going back, that's Bob's heart.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for it too, because
Hell yeah.
most times when a transaction like this happens, and we know it because we have newspapers and we buy newspapers,
Yeah.
you're out the next day.
Absolutely.
So nobody was out the next day.
No, that's great to hear, but that's definitely, so realistically, after you said skis end in April.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Now, realistically, is things up in the air right now?
Things are up in the air for a lot of people. I mean, the nice thing, it's a double-edged sword, we don't know what's going to happen to all of us. At the same time, we have a lot of time.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
So people are starting to look out there, but they're also staying. I'm trying to keep everybody focused on marketing our wonderful product.
Yeah, because you don't want to just know that, like, hey, in a couple months, so people are just going to be done with it.
The whole organization has too much pride for that.
Absolutely.
So
you got to be a piece of shit to just completely, throw it all down. Like that.
That's an excellent adjective.
Yeah.
I was an English major.
Okay.
So, and then I just said, that's not an English. That's not good English.
That's all right. You're not an English major anymore.
That's true. But I'm going to be leaving the resorts after the ski season. And it truly makes, and I don't want to continue. I want to move on to talk about the brand more than me. But it's sad because it was a fun ride. It was a wild ride.
I mean, I'm sure that you had a lot of memories up here. Be somewhere 13 years.
I had my second child while I was working here. I also grew up here.
Yeah.
I was and this is a lesson for, those 25 to 30-year-old marketers. Don't act like you know anything. Then you know everything.
Yeah.
I came in with an ego. I came out with a smart ass. I was a smart ass city guy in the country here. And that got wiped out pretty quickly by and I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for Bob. I'm thankful for my boss here.
Yeah.
That I was able to grow. And that's what it's such a nurturing environment here. And I'm hopeful that will continue. But so that's where we are. And, Vail is best in class when it comes to ski resorts. So
when you say that, that's one of the names that you associate it with.
And I think the skiing experience is going to get even better. We took it to a certain level, and I think it's going to continue to get better. And maybe new lifts, maybe new snowmaking.
Now, let me ask you this: is it still Seven Springs? Will it be that?
Yeah. So the brands they are very sensitive and want to make sure that these brands keep their identity.
Okay,
which is awesome.
Yeah, it is cool to hear that, because if it would have changed the name of the mountain, people would feel different about it.
I think so. I think you're right. And people have so much history here. I mean, we did a video a couple of years ago called 7 Spring Stories. And one of them was all these people. We interviewed all these people that met on the mountain and wound up getting married.
100%. And I mean, it's like, there's a power to all this up here for sure.
Yeah. The nostalgia is the most powerful drug in the world.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's cool that for now, to hear that Seven Springs the name will stay, that's important, I feel.
You can't change. I mean, it's again, iconic brand. And
now, Vail, they're a bigger company, obviously. Do they just own the one resort out there?
No, they have 40 resorts.
Okay, yeah, I figured they own a bunch of shit.
They own a bunch of shit. That's right. They own 40 resorts. So, they had 37 and they with the acquisition. So they own 8 in Pennsylvania though.
Oh,
they own Whitetail.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, they're Central PA, and then they own Jack Frost Big Boulder, which is in the Poconos. They own Ski Liberty, Ski Round Top. Those are all Central PA.
I literally have never heard of any of those that you just sent. See, I'm dedicated. I know Seven Springs.
Well, and that's how the industry works though. Like, we have these companies that come to us and say, "Hey, we'll sell your lift tickets on our website at a discount and you'll be able to sell more." I'm like, but people don't shop around. They just decide that they know Seven Springs. They love Seven Springs.
They know where to go for sure.
Exactly. So that's the Vail portion, and then I'm going to stay on with Mr. Nutting, or Bob, which he likes me to call him.
Yeah.
And Vail did not purchase the golf courses at Seven Springs and Hidden Valley, nor did they purchase our sporting clays facility.
Really?
Nor did they purchase any of the real estate where the condos are on.
Oh,
so we're keeping that, and we're going to run our real estate brokerage and sell houses, and maybe one day develop.
Yeah.
And the Highlands Market, which is pretty rad. I'm too old to use that word, but
It's all right. I like
I want
it.
to see a reaction.
That was perfect.
You didn't even react. You didn't
That's
even,
because you did it so smoothly.
didn't even flinch, man.
Seamless.
So,
What did you expect me to say? Rad.
I'm like, dude, what are you talking about?
No, that was seamless.
Okay, good.
Hidden Valleys or the Laurel Highlands.
Highlands Sporting Clays.
Yeah.
So it's going to be called Highlands Sporting Clays. It'll be Highlands Golf Club at Seven Springs, Highlands Golf Club at
Are
Hidden
you
Valley.
a golfer?
No,
No.
no.
Wow.
Just never. I grew up in East Liberty.
Yeah, that's all right.
And frankly,
I didn't start golfing until I was like 28.
There wasn't a lot of country club in my life growing up.
That's all right. Neither was I. But 28, once you get past the being able to hit it accurately, it becomes addictive.
I like to hit balls.
Yeah.
But I also, I think because you can see I'm pretty fast paced and energetic, my attention span for 18 holes isn't real
That's fair.
strong.
That's fair.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to that, and we're going to market that, and it should be fun.
Yeah. It'll definitely be interesting.
Certainly easier, a little less stressful to operate.
I'm sure
We
it
also
will
have
be.
we also have 3 restaurants downtown.
Really? What are they?
We have a company called North Shore Food and Beverage that we oversee because we're really good at restaurants.
Yeah.
You like to eat.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it.
So Taps and Taco, which is in what was used to be Steel Cactus. It's right on Federal Street, outside the ballpark.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then we have the Allegheny Grill, which wasn't open very much. Not an easy thing to open restaurants during a pandemic.
I know.
So we have the Allegheny Grill, and then we have a third space that we're not sure. It was a pizza shop. We're not sure what we're going to put in there, but that's been a fun project too. Taps and Talks is a cool brand. I don't know if you saw this, and you can imagine who wrote this stuff, but it's basically Yinzer tacos.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, our whole brand is built on, we never went south. We never went further south than, Virginia. In fact, we're all from up Route 28. And
That's the Yinzer accent is is such like an interesting thing. People listen and they'll message me and like they say that I'm a typical Yinzer, and I guess I just don't notice that I talk.
do you
like
take that as a compliment or as a?
I
would.
I don't dislike it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I wear it as a badge of honor because I'm authentic with it. I'm very transparent on here. If I don't know shit, I just say I don't know it. If I do know it, I try to add my sense.
We need more of you.
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
We need more people
That's
like
why
you,
that
Chad.
this has been successful with me, I feel.
How many listeners are you up to? I couldn't
I'm
remember.
about to roll 100,000 downloads.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That's
Appreciate
freaking
that.
outstanding.
Self-made, man. Self-made.
There's something to be said for that.
Something to be said for that.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I'm slow and steady wins the race. But and I mean, like, this right here is like another. This is another.
I
I have a
don't-
list of bucket list people. Seven Springs is definitely.
Oh, let me
one.
help you. I'll help you with that.
I mean, I appreciate it. I like
Like
to,
who do you got on the list?
Mikey and Big Bob were up
You
there.
got that, yeah.
I kind of want to get Shop 412 on there. I want to hear about their whole.
I don't know
debacle.
those guys. I
know.
I
I've
just bought
spoke to
2 of
them.
their shirts though because their shirts are in stock again.
I know they were out for a while. They make some cool shit though, but I just enjoy, I enjoy a lot of different stuff. And it's not even all big people, but I want to get someone from WQED. I already had Rick C back, but I want to get like someone that's not like I don't want Rick C back.
Why don't you get their CEO?
I mean, let's make it happen. You know what I mean?
She was my babysitter growing up.
Come on, let's make it
Her
happen.
name's
Now-
Deborah Ackland.
This is what's so good about this is like
Pittsburgh.
I start to be able to add people into my Rolodex.
You know
I
who
call
should
it the
get
phone
on?
book.
You should get John Wayner on.
John Wayner.
Pittsburgher from Carrick, played for the Pirates. Now is their announcer.
I had no idea.
Should get him. Should get Tim DeBacco, who's the organist at the Penguins games.
I need to get wow, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I just talked to Getzoff. He's gonna be coming on.
Wow.
Yeah, no big deal or nothing. I got some people coming. I got the zoo coming on. I got all kinds
The
of
zoo is in the Oakland Zoo? The
Pittsburgh Zoo.
The Highland Park Zoo.
Yeah, Pittsburgh Zoo. We're gonna get him in here.
Well, animals can't talk though.
I know, but I'm trying to it's weird. It's
Henry,
weird.
is he going to get Henry the elephant guy?
I would love to. I got it, but I'm able to. Once people like Seven Springs give me a little bit of the, you give me the time of day. That's just another big name to add to the resume. That's whenever I approach people, I'm like, I never like to pull the big cards until after because if people accept my invitation, whenever I say, I talk to beekeepers, funeral directors, chefs, and then whenever people don't answer, I go, I even have the local celebs like Rick Seaback, Mikey and Bob, Seven Springs, Turner's Tea.
You should get Sally Wiggin.
before the pandemic happened, me and Sally were emailing back and forth. She
cool.
was she was like, I'm going to Africa for like 4 weeks. Hit me up
she
in a
loves
month.
her animals, yeah.
And then, the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
But, we got Bob Pompiani.
got Bob?
Bob will be on here. I had talked to Selena already. Selena was
Selena
on.
well.
She's great.
True story. Again, I hate to do this. I hosted Pittsburgh Today Live with Selena 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
One show.
That's the best.
That was fun. She's great. They're a super nice family. Everyone likes just to give Bob a hard time. He's the gentleman.
Come on now, Bob Pompiani. He's a character. He's a character of the city.
So let's go the other side of it. Have you gotten Madden?
No.
Have you tried?
Mark Madden,
He's probably a very interesting guy.
I'm not a sports guy.
Oh,
you know what
okay.
I mean? So it's like, I don't, that's why I've never had a Steelers on or anything like
Okay.
that. It's because
Yep.
I played football for over a decade. I literally have not watched a football game, a Steelers game. It's like, I'm going to get crucified for saying all this stuff.
Yeah.
I always feel like an asshole whenever I say it, but hey, I'm authentic.
Right. You're real.
I'm real. I'm not going to claim to be.
You need to get percentage. You need to also get Todd Zwicker from Iron City. He's the president of Iron City now. We want to talk about.
Start sending me all these people, and I'll make it happen.
Well, I'll help you.
I got you're about to be episode 195, maybe 196. 196.
It took you 195 episodes to find Seven Springs.
I it's just credit.
I'm sad.
I'm giving your name credit. You know what I mean? I wanted to come correct. Plus, the people that I was able to interview way early on, I feel that I did a disservice to them because I was.
Did you get a redo? You get a redo?
Some of them I definitely did. I got a UFC fighter coming on Sunday. Actually, technically he got cut by the UFC last fight, but he's working his way back up. Karma Worthy, Death Star.
That'd be a great story there.
Yeah,
great story.
Last time I interviewed him was right after he was the underdog and knocked someone out in his UFC fight and standing with Joe Rogan.
Wow.
Pretty
I
crazy.
wonder if Mayor Gainey would do it.
I'm reaching out to him too.
Peduto would be interesting too. He's a character. You got to go see him in Cappies on Shady Side.
It's hard because I don't like to muddy the water of this
with politics
at all because I'm not educated enough, honestly, and people get it forced down your throat online all day.
I know.
This is like where I'm someone who just wants to get away from it.
I agree with you. I am too, and I just.
How often do you ski up here?
Not enough.
It's like people that own a pool, right? It's like, got it in your backyard.
It's like the cobbler's kids never have shoes. I try to get out 7 to 10 times a winter.
Yeah.
And I try to get to Hidden. I've only been out once this year at Hidden Valley.
Yeah.
And
I'm a fan. I love it, but it's like it's like bowling for me. I could go once and I could be cool.
You like the vice. You like the vice of being on the resort.
I love it. It's like a boat. I'm a boat guy whenever I'm a boat, like a bachelor party, I'll rent a pontoon boat and then I become a boat guy.
So Foggy Goggle. We should have done this in the Foggy Goggle. I didn't even think of that.
It would have been too loud.
It probably would
have been too loud and we would have had Yinzers coming by like, what's going on here?
don't you come over here, Jack.
Yeah, that's exactly
But we could have had a whole plate of big ass nachos.
That's all right. We're going to do another one.
So what if you were to go to the Foggy Goggle right now, what would you drink?
I don't drink really. I get
Turners. You drink Turners.
Get a vodka water, hold the vodka.
Or you could probably sneak the Turners in and maybe spike it.
I would definitely.
Is that allowed?
It's definitely allowed. I mean, you're the marketing director. I'm sure you could get me out of any trouble that I'm in.
Iconic brand.
I know Andy Marenko. Who's going to tell me anything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But the Foggy Goggle. Now, as far as I'm curious about this, so as a ski resort, this is one thing that is kind of like that someone that wouldn't know about until they were behind the scenes. I'm curious about like the risk of what a ski resort has as far as like, I'm sure you have crazy shit happen, people wrecking and stuff like that, but I'm not even necessarily talking about all that, but let's touch on that. Is there crazy,
we have a lot of insurance.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
You guys,
there's insurance companies that specialize for ski resorts.
You have to, right?
Yeah. I don't know what our policies are and I don't want to know.
Yeah. But you have to have like
that. And we make everyone sign a waiver. When you buy a lift ticket, you sign a waiver.
That's a good point.
When you buy your season pass, you sign a waiver. When you rent skis, you sign a waiver.
Andy's kid fell off a ski lift before.
That's ironic, isn't it?
Ain't it ironic? This was a long, long time ago. Luckily, it was fresh powder. It was way before global warming. Now,
that would be the Alanis Morissette song, Ain't It Ironic in Pittsburgh.
Isn't it? That's exactly it. What about, as people that,
there's inherent risk in this, Chad.
You have to have snow. So we're living in a world where, global warming is happening. What's the thoughts of that as someone who is in is that even a biggest concern?
It's amazing that global warming has fallen into politics.
Yeah, it's politics,
and not science. So I
mean, I guess people could definitely argue it follows into science too.
It does. It is science.
Christmas, it was 65 degrees.
Right.
Right. It's weird.
I think global warming is probably for real.
Yeah. What happens if there's no snow though?
We pray for cold weather and then we can pump it out like nobody else.
So have you guys ever experienced it where you didn't have any runs?
Last winter we only had like 63 natural inches of snow.
Yeah. So like what happens with that? You just have man-made snow?
We are very aggressive. Our CEO, Eric Mock, is the most aggressive person when it comes to snowmaking. He puts the pedal down to the metal and starts making
needs
snow.
To be doing it right
early
now.
And often.
Yeah.
And the thing is that snowmaking too, it cures the ground.
Yeah.
So we have to do that, and we cover the ground and make the ground freeze. The faster the ground freezes, the more snow that stays on top and doesn't melt.
Yeah, it makes sense.
There's an incredible sense. And the other thing too is there's some neat stuff here when it comes to snowmaking. So we have what's called a closed water system.
Yeah.
So what that means is when the snow melts, it goes into retaining ponds at the bottom of the mountain, and then we have pipes that pump it back up to our retaining ponds on top of the mountain.
Oh wow!
So that the Tahoe Lake, which is a horrible name, and I never changed that in my 13 years here.
Tahoe Lake, I never realized.
I mean, can you come up with something else? So I inherited that, but that's our main source for snowmaking, that water source.
Yeah,
and we have something in there that was originally built and designed to move algae around ponds so that algae doesn't build up.
Yeah.
But we found that it moves the water around and makes the water
freeze.
Well, it makes the water colder faster.
Oh, really?
And what you need for snowmaking is really cold water. You don't want frozen water.
Yeah, obviously.
But it also keeps it from freezing. But so it makes the water faster because it moves it around and exposes it to the cold air.
Oh, up above it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So our guys figured that out. So our madmen up there in our snowmaking team figured that out. And we also changed from diesel compressors to electric compressors for our snowmaking system, because what you have to do to make snow is you need incredibly forced air, you need cold air temperatures, you need forced air from us, and you need cold water.
Yeah, I feel like a diesel engine would make things hot.
Exactly. So it's making slop.
Yeah, so you're doing.
Well, it's also greener.
Yeah, snake eating its tail.
Yeah, exactly. So those things helped us too, and there's a lot of little things that people may or may not know when they're
the
on
inches add up. You ever see Any Given Sunday?
Yes,
all the inches add up.
That's exactly true. So that's been fun for me to learn, because I didn't. There was nobody to train me about how to work in skiers. Nobody trained me in hospitality. There's a funny story in that. Food and beverage is a big component of what we do.
Yeah.
So I'm in my first meeting, they said F&B. I'm like, what the hell is F&B? And they're all looked at me like, all right, this is our new director of marketing. Yeah. What an idiot. I remember that day. I think it was in 2 rooms over, and I had that. But that's snowmaking is paramount for us.
Well, what's like the day-to-day of the people that like maintain this mountain? So obviously you have a full day of a weekend of people going down these slopes.
Have you ever stayed in a slopeside room overnight?
Yes, I have actually.
Do you hear the beeping all through the night?
Yeah, that's them. That's
groomers.
Groomer.
So we have 7 or 8 snow groomers that, when we don't typically have powder.
Yeah.
So what we do is we groom what's called corduroy, just like corduroy pants from the back in the day. You're probably too old for corduroy.
I love corduroy. Corduroy's back now.
Is it
you
back?
Didn't know that?
We got to hang more.
Yeah. I'll put you on to all the good stuff.
I think make Moser cool again. That'll be your campaign.
That'll be good. I'm good with that.
So we go up and down the slopes with the groomer, and it has these fine tracks on it that make the grooming, which is really nice to ski on, as you probably know.
100%.
So that goes up and down all night.
And there's people in there.
So we get complaints sometimes from people in the hotel room saying, there was a truck beeping and backing up all night. I'm like, no, that was our groomer, sir. And that's is your snow good today? He's like, yes.
So there's people in there overnight. You got overnight workers.
It takes a long time to do 280 acres.
That's what I figure. Yeah. So I mean, like, for you, besides grooming, like what else goes into the
we do snowmaking at night too. We try to limit our snowmaking when we're open.
Yeah, because it's sometimes not the best to go through.
No, it's not. And sometimes we don't have a choice.
Yeah. Now, what about as far as a terrain park? Because obviously you need more snow to be able to build that shit up to where you need it to be.
Actually, we need less snow with some of the terrain parks.
Why? Because you have
except the super pipe.
Well,
because
the super pipe
rails and boxes don't need a lot of snow.
That's a good point.
So there was Pat Bridges was the publisher for Snowboarder magazine, now defunct.
Yeah.
And he said the best quote I ever heard in my career here. And he said, rails don't melt.
That's fair.
So terrain parks actually don't need a lot of snow, except the super pipe
The
needs it.
super pipe needs a shitload, right?
Yeah, that needs a lot.
How long does that take to build and construct?
Well, it takes a long time to build the snow up because
Yeah.
we also don't want to take away from the rest of the mountain.
Yeah.
So that takes a long time. But once we start building it up and cutting it is what we actually cut it with
Yeah.
what's called a zog.
A zog.
Yeah, it's called a zog.
Okay.
Google it.
I will.
And we cut that in probably about 2 weeks.
Okay. Not too bad then.
No, but what else happens at night? I think it's a lot of snowmaking. It's a lot of grooming, and then early in the morning, everyone the team, Andy Marenko's team, goes and starts setting up all the stanchions to get on the lifts.
Yeah,
and then also ski patrol goes and looks at the conditions, so we put it on our snow report.
Yeah,
that we send pretty early, and ski patrol also just scans the resort, making sure that there's nothing that could get anyone.
No
hurt.
tomfoolery.
Yeah, well but also making sure that there's no imperfections or nothing too dangerous that could happen. Who knows? We have millions and millions of miles of pipe.
Yeah.
If a water main would break, that changes the
that's a good
conditions.
point.
We don't really want anyone skiing on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's been interesting. Going back to we've had injuries here.
How do you keep people out overnight?
Out of the slopes?
Yeah. I'm sure that it happens.
We have security, but it's dark.
pretty rigid, so don't try it.
It's dark.
Yeah. Is it? Oh yeah, I guess the lights.
We don't
are not
keep
on.
the lights on, and
The groomers have front lights on them.
They do, and you don't want to run into the groomer will kill you.
You ever see the movie Frozen?
Yeah.
Not the kids movie Frozen.
The one about wasn't it one about hockey on
No, I'm talking about the ones where people got stuck on a ski lift.
No,
overnight.
I don't think I want to watch.
It was like a B movie. They got stuck on a ski lift in like Vale or whatever like that. Oh, dun 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 in Vale, and they had to jump off, and there was like wolves that came and ate them and shit. Not the best movie, but it's cool for if you're into skiing.
I'll have to look that one up there, Chad.
You can go past it. Now the dude who professional skier that did the longest
rail.
Yeah, what was his name?
Tom Wallish.
Tom Wallish.
I'm so glad you brought him up because you know what? He's a freestyle skier.
Yeah.
He's won the X Games. He's also a really good announcer.
Yeah, what happened here? I want
We broke a Guinness Book of World Records.
I didn't want to speak out of term and say that. Did he break a record here?
He broke the Guinness Book of World Records for riding the longest rail.
How long was it?
I can't remember.
Come on.
No,
you're marketing. You're supposed to be able to have that number right there.
Can I call him?
Go ahead.
Call Tom.
The longest rail grind on skis is 128.656 meters, which converts to 422 foot, 1.1 inch, and was achieved by Tom Wallish from the United States at the Seven Springs Mountain Resort in Seven Springs, Pennsylvania, USA, on March 27th, 2016. Back to the show. Was that like a big deal to have that here?
Yeah, well, we sponsor him.
Yeah.
And he's from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No. I'll have to get him in.
He's from. Oh, you definitely should have him on. He's a cool dude.
I'll definitely have to.
And
You're going to have to link that up with me.
I will be happy to.
That's one helping hand that I'll take.
Tom's a really good dude and very down to earth. I mean, he'll come hang out and just talk to anyone, sign autographs.
That's pretty sick.
He grew up skiing here and at Wisp down in McHenry, Maryland. And he comes back every so often. He'll be back this year for an event later this season. But as good of a skier as he's a better human. Yeah, he's such a good guy. Yeah. I've been interviewed many times for like ski publications. Yeah, because to talk about that relationship with him, and that's always my line. Is just he's such a good dude.
Who orchestrates a Guinness Book of World Record?
Well, we actually had.
Do you call Guinness?
We did.
Yeah.
And Tom's people did as well. And then our terrain park guys built it for him.
Well, I'm curious. The reason I asked that is because like I always see people that like random people online that do like the Guinness. Like I watched one of this dude, he crushed more cans with his foot. You know, he beat that Guinness, and I'm just like, is there a number you just call and say, hey, I'm thinking about like doing this, and they just send someone out here to watch you?
I don't know how it all went down. That's a great question, but I do know that we had somebody on site to make sure it happened.
Yeah.
And he was, if I remember correctly, too, was exactly what you'd expect. And he looked like a little Harry Potter dude.
you know, keeper of the books.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he like had a pencil, and you know, he used a mechanical pencil probably.
That's the best.
Yeah, old school
pencil holder.
Old school. Yeah. So that was a cool event. You know, I mean, there's so many events here through my 13 years. That, you know, we also, you know, you asked about summer. We didn't even get to that.
I know we didn't.
Holy moly!
It's because we're in the vibe of winter right now. But Oktoberfest up here, that was
Autumn
like,
Fest. Yep.
Autumn. Sorry,
but it's no, it's all right.
The Autumn Fest was something that was my favorite growing up. I remember painting ceramic pumpkins.
Yeah, the pumpkin patch is great. And it's
My
amazing
favorite.
too. We scaled that back a little bit this last year because we did hold Autumn Fest over whatever the fall was after the first pandemic year.
Yeah.
And we didn't have anything going on.
Yeah.
And we were sold out because people just come to see the Darren leaves.
Yeah, they just want to be, especially after a pandemic, people just want a reason to go out.
Leaf peepers.
Yeah, leaf peepers. I'm one of them people. Me and
like leaves?
my wife will throw the dogs in the car and ride up here. There's a coffee shop right over
there.
Right over there that I'm a big fan of. So I go to them. Shout out Silver Horse Coffee.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I interviewed them on here.
Oh, they're great.
Out of 190 some episodes, they're probably in my top 3.
That is awesome.
Yeah, they're great people.
Yeah. Yep.
It's it's interesting to learn about that. But yeah, good people over there.
So yeah, Autumn Fest is great. But summer typically before I got here was pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Alpine slide, some conferences.
Do you love the Alpine slide?
Yeah.
How long does that take to put up?
Ooh, a couple weeks.
Yeah, it has to be a while, right?
Yeah, it's manually. It's all manual. It's old school.
It's a wild to think about. That is a wild place.
We have to constantly upkeep those pieces as well.
I would hope you would.
Yeah, well, we have to. Trust me.
What's the safety of that? Like how do you go through that measure? You just who draws the short straw that said, "All right, we're going to send someone down now."
I don't think it's a short straw. Everyone's pretty adventurous here. Yeah, everyone's pretty adventurous here, and they want to do it. The fun job is when it rains, we send some of our newbies down with towels.
Oh my god!
With towels, literally, and drying the whole thing. That may be like that or garbage movement might be the 2 worst jobs here.
Yeah.
But back to summer. So summer used to be pretty quiet. But we added a bunch of festivals. Rib and Wing Festival now will be in its 13th year.
Rib and Wing Festival.
So it wasn't just Rib Festival, it was Rib and Wing Festival. And, typically you've probably been down to Heinz Field for the rib cook-off.
Yeah.
This is different than we're not in a parking lot. We're at the base of a beautiful mountain on grass, and the ribbers love it.
Yeah.
The same ones have come every year.
I'll be honest, I'd be more inclined to come here to go to a Rib and Wing Festival than it was to go to Heinz Field.
Yeah, because this is more of an experience.
More of an experience.
No offense. I mean, Heinz Field, they do a great show.
It's beautiful down there.
Great,
but I don't want
great
you're
show.
packed in a sardine can.
Yeah, great show. But so we do that. We do a wine festival. It's all Pennsylvania wine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, is it all local?
40 there's like 300. You should do a story on that too. There's 300 Pennsylvania wineries.
So we're friends now, so we're gonna be in contact.
I think I'll be your booking agent.
Yeah, that'll be good. I'll give you a cut once I become rich.
I was gonna say a cut of 0 is 0.
Yeah, technically, shout out to Turner's. They're keeping the lights on.
I mean, yeah,
You
seriously.
ain't getting no cuts of them because I went through the mud to get them myself.
Maybe I should sell some sponsorships for you.
Let's do it.
You should be doing like Get-Go or something out there.
Get-Go, I tried. I interviewed Chef Tom at Get-Go.
You did?
It was a fantastic.
He knows Mikey and Bob, right? He does a lot with Mikey and Bob.
Oh yeah, they're big dogs, but how can I compete with Mikey and Bob? You know what I mean?
No.
You can only. You don't really need anyone else besides for Mikey and Bob.
Right. So wine festival. We did a fireworks and food trucks show twice. That's rather new, but that was
music
awesome.
up here.
Yeah, well, you know what? We used to do big concerts, and what was happening was we were getting C and D listers on a Wednesday.
Yeah, that's a good point.
How are you going to draw?
Yeah, you're right.
So we do
Tuesday
smaller
worth of
local
squeeze.
regional bands on smaller stages, like Foggy Goggle. We activated the Foggy Goggle this past summer.
Yeah.
And around Emo's Pit area.
That place is bumping.
Awesome.
It's bumping up there.
And then we also added, we added the Foggy this year.
What?
Oh, you haven't seen this yet?
Do you have a mechanical bull in there?
No, we did consider that.
Yeah.
No, we added axe throwing.
Did you?
Yeah, so
Sounds like a good time.
There's like 8 axe throwing lanes in there, and it's pretty awesome. And actually, the targets are projected.
Oh, I didn't know that.
onto a stump.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you don't have to. What an innovative idea that is. That you don't have to keep going and dealing with that bullshit.
Yeah.
Of putting paper up there.
Right.
But that's pretty sick.
No, it's done pretty well. It really was another nice amenity we had this summer, and then it's open all winter too.
What a weird phenomenon, axe throwing.
I know.
It's great to see how people, what's like popular now. Like, you ever do one of them like them escape rooms?
I've done one. I was scared. Can I say? I can say I was scared shitless.
Yeah, I loved it.
Did you really?
I like puzzles and shit. I'm a riddle type person.
It was too stressful for me.
It is. It's definitely high anxiety.
I think it takes certain makeup to be able to do that.
I'm built different.
You're cool, calm, and collect.
Built different.
Yeah, cool, calm, and collect.
I keep that. Yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah.
I'll take that. But it's interesting because how much of I don't even know if there's a way to like put this into perspective, but obviously Seven Springs is, you're getting a lot of your business in the wintertime. What is...
Do you know that's funny, though? Is
that just an assumption?
Maybe pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
We keep in mind, though, winter's 3 months. Spring, summer, fall is 9. We've been busier in the spring, summer, fall than we have winter. But again, though, it's 3 months versus 9 months.
Yeah. I guess that would make sense. I know that the spa up here, like I've been, me and my wife are going to try to
couples massage.
We're going to try to do it up here, but it's just like, you got to find the time to do it.
I know.
But,
I know.
I know that that's highly regarded up here, but I know that just the lodging up here, people come up here and just like the area.
People love our cottages and chalets and cabins.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't even say we're keeping 7 of the cabins in the new company.
Oh yeah.
So Bass Rock, which if you pass on driving into the resort, it's on the right side. It's got a nice little private lake. You can't miss it.
Oh yeah,
it's right before the Big Bend.
Yeah,
yeah, that's an awesome little house we renovated, and
wow,
that's for rent. And we have a bunch of other ones. That's a neat way to do it too, because you can bring more people.
Yeah,
you're not and also with a pandemic, people like having a kitchen
for sure.
So those have done quite well. In that regard, the hotel, we have lots of different hotel types. We have split rooms.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
I actually won a PR package up here randomly through.
You win a lot up here.
So this is exactly how I'll explain it. So on Twitter, I think it was Seven Springs that posted something that was it was a Penguins family memorial package. So I entered this giveaway, and a week and a half later, it was right whenever robot calls started to start coming, and I was like, I ain't answering this number. This is some bullshit. They called me and they were like, hey, do you remember, it might have been you. It called me and was like, hey, do you remember entering this giveaway a few weeks ago? And I was like, yeah. They were like, well, you won. And I was like, is this real? And it was the Family Memories package. I had a weekend stay.
It was probably Abby. It might have been. Was it a woman or was it a man? Do you remember?
I think it was a man.
Okay, it might have been Justin.
Who knows? Regardless, but I got a signed Fleury jersey. I got tickets to do all this shit up here. Tubing.
Was it through the Penguins or through us?
It might have been the Penguins.
Okay, yeah, we partner with the Penguins.
It might have been the Penguins, but I ended up getting to stay up here, and it was, it was a great time. That was the only time I ever got to stay, because I was spoiled with the Marenko's home, just a stone's throw away. But it was the only time I ever got to stay on the grounds here just enjoy it, because it was a great weekend that we actually got to come up and ski. There was snow overnight, so it was cool to be able to go out on the balcony.
Powder's so great.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
PA powder.
The vibe.
Yeah.
That's the vibe up here.
Yeah, it's so great. That's awesome. Yeah, the Penguins are a great partner of ours. We've partnered with them for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And fantastic. They love coming up here. Fantastic to work with. And ironically, our rep that we deal with is Lauren Lemieux.
Really?
And she's awesome. Really great person.
That's
yes.
That's
the Emperor's daughter.
That's Emperor's daughter.
Yeah, and you expect kids that come from a millionaire or celebrity.
Yeah.
Down to earth, awesome person.
That's and I feel like you could stereotype it, because hockey players are normally more down to earth and just more, not as like bougie, if you will. It's like, you got to respect that to some extent.
Yeah, no, that's been fun. And again, that partnership's been good for the resort, because what we do too is we take some of our clients to hockey games.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really our sales guys love that, and that's been a good partnership. We also partner with Pepsi.
Oh, that's what's up.
Well, Pepsi's great because they have Gatorade and Mountain Dew, which really fit our vibe here.
Oh, yeah.
So they've been a great partner through the years too, and I've really good people.
Yeah.
Which is all, at the end of the day,
it all is good people up here.
I don't want to cause any fights here, but is there that much difference between Coke and Pepsi?
Yeah.
Is there? Okay.
There's definitely,
but my point is, Pepsi's been an incredible partner. They're not a vendor of ours.
To be completely fair, I love a Pepsi. Hey, I love a Pepsi. I'll say that. But I also love
listening? Mark Miola, are you listening to this podcast?
Hey, if Pepsi's reaching out, holler at me. Actually, keep it, because I already got a drink sponsor. I don't need no Pepsi. Anyway,
there are no bubbles in that though.
It's all right. I'm a seltzer guy anyway. Okay.
Are you really?
Yeah, I like seltzer. I'm a big fan of it.
It doesn't give you gas?
No.
Okay.
Seltzer give you gas?
No bubbles.
I mean, maybe I'll burp once or two, but I've never heard of that. Does seltzer come out the other end?
Times.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
Maybe you're just too young.
I'm too young for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's going south here, Chad?
No, this is exactly what everyone wants to hear. This is the greatest. So, as you said, you're going to be parting ways with Seven Springs.
I am.
Out of, after a decade tenure here, you can't help but to love it. I'm sure you have great memories here, everything. The goals of this, you usually ask people at the end, what are the goals of this? But you're a small piece in a big
cog. I'm a cog in a big machine.
Cog in a big machine.
Yeah.
But, so I'm not going to leave it in what are the goals, because I'm sure that the goals are to, hopefully keep this place Seven Springs and hopefully keep this place running and hopefully, incorporate some new shit that's going to benefit. Make for an even better experience.
Yeah. And I told you earlier, we are very proud of our stewardship of this incredible mountain in an incredible area of the country and incredibly close to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I know your audience.
We're spoiled.
I know your audience isn't all Pittsburgh. I know you're probably
everywhere.
You're probably getting nationwide by now.
It's definitely going other places,
but it's a very unique place too.
It is. It's unique up here. This is I got married a stone's throw away from up here.
Did you?
Yeah, Hayloft.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Oh yeah. Shout out Betty Lou. She was a saint.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
Everything seems to,
there's runs together here.
It's like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I think it's 7 degrees of Seven Springs, which
Pittsburgh,
is 7.
It just shows you it's just Pittsburgh realistically. It's Pittsburgh because it's a small enough city where everyone knows each other, and it's a big enough city where
I know, and I'm at the point too. I know so many people now. I'm almost worried that I don't know the generation below me as well, and I want to get to know them better.
Yeah,
so
you're in.
Someday too, I want to teach.
You're in.
You're in.
Follow the Instagram, and I'll put you on some good shit. I got everyone on here from funeral directors to pizza places. That's the good thing about this.
2 things everyone needs in their life:
funeral directors and pizza places. You ain't running from death, and everyone loves pizza.
Exactly.
All right, so let me get to the ending segment that I do with all my guests. Okay. I do an ending segment called Desert Island Questions. All right, Desert Island Questions. Whenever I give each guest 3 categories to take with them on a desert island to exhaust until they starve to death and die. First category is 3 things to watch. You get to pick 3 movies, 3 DVD discs, and I will give you a integrated DVD TV to have on a desert island like Tom Hanks in Castaway.
Billy Madison.
Great movie.
Slapshot.
That's a great movie too. Shout out to the Hanson brother. Hopefully he's beating that cancer.
I gotta say Animal House.
Oh, that's a great one too. It's been a long time since I watched that.
Yeah,
the Belushi brothers.
It comes on, and then I look over, and even my 12-year-old just not old enough for it yet. And there's a couple scenes in the ladder that he's not ready for.
Absolutely, it's like I remember, whenever I was younger, watching Caddyshack and not understanding. And not even like, I'll still watch like older Disney movies. Like I watched Aladdin the other day, and it's just like. Watching these
Caddyshack
as an adult is like kind of shout out to Caddyshack up here. Spent so much of my family's money there.
Major League, the first one.
Oh yeah, Willie Mays Hayes, can't beat that.
There's
so many good movies.
There's a lot of bad ones too.
There are. What is your favorite winter?
No music for this one.
No music. Okay. You want some music?
Yeah.
Go ahead. What is the winter setting? Movie, like if you had to pick one, like there's some movies that I think of.
The most recent one that I just watched was Hot Tub Time Machine. Yeah, at a ski resort. Ridiculous, right?
That was honestly a slept on movie. I feel like that don't get talked about enough.
No, Hot Dog the movie was another ski movie.
What was it?
Hot Dog the movie.
Never heard that.
Yeah.
Out Cold.
Out Cold.
That's
that was a good one.
Movie.
That was a good one.
Johnny Tsunami, you're too old for that.
Johnny Tsunami?
Yeah, it's a Disney movie. I'm sorry I even made that reference.
It's all right.
But that's like the stereotypical as a younger person, that was the skiers hated the snowboarders.
Yeah, it's just weird because remember, I didn't grow up.
I get it.
I grew up as a sports guy that wound up in marketing versus the ski guy that wound up in marketing.
That's fair.
But yeah, Hot Tub Time Machine's a good one.
That got to be it. That got to be the winner.
And then the ridiculousness of it is I cringed when I saw like the broken down lodge and all that because we have such pride here, and I saw them like, oh my god, how did they let that happen? And and then they're like, Dad, you're missing the point in the movie. I'm like, all right, you're right.
Movie really was great. I'm gonna have to revisit that now.
Good actors and actresses too.
Okay, second category.
Yep.
I usually ask people 3 books to take, but I'm gonna I'm gonna not ask that.
I did read just 2 books I just read recently.
they?
I read Seth Rogen's book.
Really, I didn't read that.
It's pretty good.
I saw that he came out with one.
Yeah, that was good. And I read Colin Jost's Punchable Face.
Yeah, it was.
That was good too. I liked both of those.
I don't know anything really about him. I'm not a big SNL guy. I'm rooting for him because he's
married too.
He's married to one of what was her name? What the hell's her name?
I can't remember her name either.
God, I can't remember. That's all right.
She's pretty.
She's gorgeous. But okay, so if you gave me 2 books now, what is your favorite restaurant? I want 3 of your favorite restaurants to go to in the city. They cannot be tied to any Seven Springs or
No. I wouldn't do that. I'd say Park Shenley, but that's been closed for 30 years.
I've never heard of
Park
that.
Shenley was a really fancy restaurant in Oakland.
Park Shenley.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, my favorite restaurants are probably Cornerstone and Aspinwall.
Okay.
Gosh, we go to Mad Max an awful lot as well.
Mad Max is great.
Yeah.
Someone just picked that recently, probably 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, I mean, they do a nice job. They also have Alta Via, which
They're
is
good.
Alta Via is in Fox Chapel,
I never
which is
had
really
that.
good. Right off 28, that's really good Italian.
Okay.
But then the other one I have to say is my man, and you should meet him too. Is Jesse Seeger owns Point and Park Bruges. Point Bruges is in Point Breeze. Park Bruges is in Highland Park.
I've
Good
never-
mussels and frites, like French fries. Good
have to
beer,
get in there.
real good beer selection. Nice drinks. I could go on and on.
Yeah, we're going to talk. I need a list of all these people that you're telling me to talk to.
But also, my jam growing up in Shady Side Squirrel Hill is Minios. I'm a Minios guy. Are you an AOs? Or are you? No, you're bad Mo's.
I mean, it's not even that. It's just, all pizza aside, I do not understand the Minios.
ALOs thing?
No, not even that. What's the other one? Fioris.
Yeah.
Minios, Fioris.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think that they are a dime a dozen pizza, and I don't understand the chaos.
I think
said
it's
this numerous
it's probably
times on here.
regional. It's where I grew up in Squirrel Hill, so I went to Minios or ALOs.
I mean, but
People in Mount Lebanon, they go to
I
Fioris,
get it. They
right?
feel the same way about Snyder's and Turner's.
Snyder's local too.
Who knows? Who
cares?
Who cares?
Jinx.
Shout out to Turner's.
Jinx.
But okay, that's a good answer. Okay,
Restaurants, yeah, those are when so many have come and gone too.
that's a good handful.
Like
though.
my man, too, Spoon in East Liberty near
heard-
Whole Foods was good, but that closed.
I heard that
my man
place was
Brian
good.
Pekarsik was there. He's the man. He apparently, and this I might be jumping it. Apparently, he's opening some type of sandwich shop somewhere. So, and then there's some good stuff downtown too. Meat and Potatoes and Taco.
Yeah.
Those are good restaurants too.
I have said it on here before. I think meat and potatoes was the most overrated dish I've ever had.
Really?
I just didn't have a good experience. But taco, I was pleasantly surprised with. I was like, this is unreal.
Yeah.
They really were great.
Yeah.
What's
The next question. This is fun. I like
Third category,
lightning
3
round.
CDs.
3 CDs. They have
Yep.
to be that I had.
I mean,
on
it could
CD.
be a tape.
You
No, these are just ones that you're going to be stuck on an island and you get an anti-skip compact disc player.
Nirvana, Bleach.
Okay.
I mean, now I'm aging myself.
That's
right?
all right. Nirvana's great.
Nirvana, Bleach, though.
I'm happy that
Not the newer.
I know,
not
I
the
get it.
old stuff was so good.
it was good.
My favorite song is "Eye of the Tiger" by Survivor.
Really?
It's just good.
Did you know, fun fact, that was not going to be the Rocky song? In fact, it was sought after to be Another One Bites the Dust, but Queen would not allow it, or someone in that organization would not allow it. And in fact, Survivor wrote Eye of the Tiger for Rocky. Could be hearsay and somewhat accurate, but I know that is somewhat accurate.
Interesting. Another good song. This is gonna be weird.
That's all right.
What's My Age Again by Blink-182?
I mean, that's my wheelhouse.
It's a good jam.
It's a good jam. It's a good jam.
I love music. So one of my jobs at the ballpark was to pick
Source music?
pick the music for the games. We had a computer called Click Effects.
Yeah, I love
And you
that.
could click and point to the songs you would play, and we'd cue it up, and we scripted it every game. And so I can tell a song what the song is
From
within
just clips
the
of
first
it.
couple seconds.
Yeah, I love it because it's like I like. I'm not even a crazy audiophile, but I love the extra that a song will add to something, whether it be a score in a movie.
I got one more. I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Any of the Zeppelin albums. I love Zeppelin.
That's my father put me onto it way early.
Yeah.
Early. My first CD that was
Traveling Riverside Blues. Some of those obscure songs too are
Moby
Like
Dick.
Moby Dick.
Like, come on. My favorite's Fool in the Rain. That's my favorite Led Zeppelin song, I think. Or Oh, there's so many good ones.
You could have a whole music. You should get Scott Mervis on and talk about concerts in Pittsburgh.
I already messaged him.
Good.
Yeah, I already messaged him, but he, I don't know if he necessarily turned it down, but he
You should also
alluded it.
How about Mr. Smalls? Have you talked to those
I
guys?
messaged those people too, and they didn't get back to me. But don't worry, I
Just don't know who you are yet.
I got my hands in everything.
Yeah, you need to get some PR people.
That's all right. One of these days, it's going to be. My goal is to be able to say, like, I messaged you back then. Now I'm too big. I'm talking to big name people now. No, I would never do that.
Yeah, I don't see that.
You probably don't know who Riff Raff is. You know who Riff Raff is?
No.
He is a mockery online, but he was like a rapper, white dude
Okay.
with cornrows.
Okay, yeah,
But,
I do know.
He has a famous thing that says, "My main thing is I want to blow up and act like I don't know nobody," and it's a joke, but that's what I want to do.
No, I'm a big Snoop fan.
Okay,
I'm a
there
big
you go.
Wiz
Can't beat
Khalifa.
that. Yeah, come on now.
I mean, I have two 12-year-old and 14-year-old boys that
So
play basketball.
you have that injected in.
No, I love listening to Channel 44 on Sirius Radio.
There you go. I listen to podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
I'm starting to more, and as I start to meet famous people that run podcasts.
Like me, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll put you onto some good shit. I'll tell you that. Okay, so did you give me 3 CDs? Yeah, you gave me
Kinda,
3
sorta.
CDs.
Yeah, I
okay,
think you
so
did. What else?
Third to last question is
Okay.
is the death row meal. I need a appetizer, a main course.
Okay,
and a
appetizer,
dessert.
matzo ball soup.
Okay, that's good.
Main course, my wife's beef tenderloin.
Oh wow, beef tenderloin.
Yeah, and dessert,
Yeah.
my wife's going to get mad, but my mom's chocolate chip coffee cake.
Oh, that sounds heavenly.
It's so good.
Shout out to Larry David. Are you a Larry David guy?
Oh yeah. There was times I thought I was Larry David.
Ted Danson, heavenly. He always says heavenly. I'm not even going to pretend like I'm a huge.
Were you a Seinfeld fan too, or is that too
I'm
young?
super late. I'm currently watching Seinfeld for the first time.
Funny, I showed up. I showed that to my kids now, so they understand what the heck I'm talking
I'm
about.
in the 5th season. I just got to. I can't remember the last episode I watched, but they're just like I did not appreciate it whenever I was
No.
younger.
Yeah.
I loathed Seinfeld whenever I was younger.
Yeah.
But I was like Home Improvement, something with like more low hanging fruit of comedy relief. But now that I can understand it, it's literally the funniest show. You can't beat it.
It's held up well too.
Held up so,
Yeah.
and for being how dated it is, it's phenomenal because imagine, watching them now, things hit and you're like, God, that's so relevant.
I mean,
but back then,
George
it's like,
Costanza.
Jesus.
Well, some of the things too they say, you're like, oh my God, you couldn't say that now.
Never.
But go look at a Sanford and Son rerun.
Yeah, it's a different time back
Archie
then.
Bunker.
It's a different time.
It's a better time.
It's
a better time. We're
even
more
like movies like American Pie, stuff like that. It was a different time. You can't say a lot of the same stuff. Okay, so you gave me that. Now the second to last question, most telling, is if you're getting ready to go on, for you, your long commute up here, it's like, and you had to go to a gas station and get a snack. What's your last snack? If you had to pick your snack,
probably pretzel rods.
pretzel rods.
Yeah.
You were snacking on one before we started.
I did. I found when I was hungry.
It's pretzel rods. That's like
It's either that or Doritos.
yeah. See, I mean, that's more of a pretzel rods is almost like
I like pretzel rods.
That's like the equivalent of a butterscotch candy.
Oh, come on. Now you're making me feel bad.
No, that's the pretzel rod is telling your age, if anything.
Is it really?
I feel like that's an older generation snack. We're spoiled now because we have brownie batter pretzel M&Ms with all this weird shit.
Truth. That's very true.
Okay, so the last question that I ask everyone is if you could have a conversation with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
There's no question. My father.
Okay, and that's fair. And that's
My
usually
you want a famous person, we can do that too. But my father passed away from Parkinson's about 15 years ago.
I apologize to hear that. It's terrible to hear that.
He missed my kids. He didn't get to see my kids.
I know, and that's a sad
Sucks.
thing to have to deal with.
And the smartest guy I ever knew.
And I feel like that's an assumed answer for a loved one. People have parents, but if it's someone that you're not connected to,
famous in the throes of time.
I mean, alive or dead.
Alive or dead? Well, I met Michael Jordan, so that's out.
Did you?
I worked for the Wizards and Capitals when
he said that.
Yeah, so
he came back.
There's been so many great humans through the world, and this probably changes. Like, I don't think it would be a sports athlete, frankly.
Well, I mean,
I think it would be somebody that changed the world, and is it Jonas Salk that came up with the polio vaccine? I don't know.
It would be interesting.
I'm thinking out loud here. Is that okay?
So
Is that allowed?
let me tell you,
Einstein?
I would that would be a great one, but I would want it. The situation would be just like you two waiting in a waiting room. So you just have this. You happen to have this
elevator conversation.
Yeah, no, but you have it for 2 hours and you're uninterrupted for some reason. Like I hear so many answers. You're about to be 195. I've heard everything from Randy Marsh from South Park to Stalin to having Democrats pick Trump to talk to.
Yeah, and since I'm married, I'm not going to say like Gwyneth Paltrow or
I feel like she would be terrible to talk to.
Yeah, maybe she'd be fun to look at.
Yeah, she'd be fun to look at.
That's a really good question.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's why I don't tell people these ahead of time, because I don't want people to prepare.
Einstein. I'm trying to think. I mean, the other weird thing is in Pittsburgh, I've met so many people that are in the spotlight.
Whenever people ask me that, I immediately am outside of the realm. Like my two answers, I usually always go back to like Richard Pryor, Robin Williams. Like I feel like I would love to talk to them.
Yeah, Robin Williams is kind of a weirdo.
Yeah, but
may rest in peace.
Yeah, but weird as hell. But
yeah,
I mean, a lot of the great name one genius and ain't crazy.
No, that's true. I'm trying to think if was there Kennedy.
Kennedy would be a good one.
John Kennedy.
That would be a good, interesting conversation for a couple hours.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, that would be cool. But I feel like Joe
DiMaggio.
Oh, that would be a good one. I would love to talk to Jack Lambert. I feel like that I'm not a big football guy, but I just want to know if like where did his tackling fuel come from?
Yeah. You want to go dark like John Hinckley?
I mean, like I said, people
Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, people have picked weird. People picked Stalin on here and shit like that.
That's crazy.
But it's like, I mean, they don't have to be good people, but for you to be able to just, if you gave someone a truth potion and they had to answer any question that you asked.
Like Eddie Vedder, because my wife loves him.
Oh, that would be a good one. Imagine talking to Robert Plant and Jimmy Page.
It'd be so cool.
It would be super cool.
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. Yeah.
I mean, think about that whole genre back then.
Yeah, that would be wild to hear about, performing the Star Spangled Banner and all that shit.
Do you know who else I never got to meet was Jake Burton?
I don't know who that is.
Burton Snowboards.
Oh, really?
He passed away. I never got to meet. He recently passed, and I know a couple of people that work very close with him, and I think I would have loved to meet him. And I think that probably ties us back to working in the ski industry. And
that's fitting.
Yeah, he sounds like his name was really Jake Carpenter, I believe.
Really?
And yeah, he did some amazing things for the sport, and Burton continues to do that. And Burton has a ton of programs too for inner city as well.
Yeah,
Burton Chill Foundation, which helps inner city get on the mountains and stuff. So they're doing a lot of good things. But yeah, he probably would have been a cool dude to talk to.
Yeah, that would be a good answer. That would be definitely a good answer, especially living in this world you've been living in the past few years.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that answer. That's my final answer there, Chad.
All right, that's a good answer. All right, Alex, I appreciate you.
This was fun, man. If you ever need a co-host, I'm game.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I was nervous as hell.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know you, and like some people I kind of have a read of, but like I don't know your regular social media. I didn't know if you were a talker. I mean,
did I do okay?
Yeah, you did fantastic. This is better than I could have ever hoped for in my life. We're in Bob Nutting's office, looking at this.
Will you call my wife? Call my wife after and said I did a good job.
I will. I hope she listens to this.
Is your wife your biggest critic?
My wife is my biggest fan, but she gives me constructive criticism whenever I need it, and she takes mine as well. My wife is a wedding makeup person as well, so nice. I can't really critique her as much because I don't know that much about makeup, but for being a male who does not wear makeup and never really did, I know a decent amount about it now.
Cool. Well, I'm going to shout out Victoria for doing a good job on her kid.
Shout out to Victoria. I appreciate it. I wouldn't be here without you. But everyone else that's listening, before we get to everyone else, I want you to plug all this. Where could everyone find all this? If you don't know where Seven Springs is by now, like where are you at?
Well, and there are people that don't know that where we are, or that we're here, or even we're open in the summertime. And I'm like, oh,
let them know.
7springs.com, hiddenvalleyresort.com, and laurelmountainski.com.
Where did the name come from, Seven Springs?
Originally, there were seven, supposedly, this is old wives' tale, that there were 7 springs.
Yeah, I would assume
and
so.
This is off topic, but I've always threatened on April Fool's Day to change our name to 8 Springs, saying we found an 8th spring. Maybe this is the year I do that.
That would be funny.
Right before
you leave?
Yeah.
That's your senior prank.
Sorry, Vale.
Yeah. All right. Everyone else that's listening, I appreciate it as usual. Each and every week, we got good guests coming back. It's the best podcast in the city. I mean, I might be biased, but hey. Episode 200 coming very soon. I would love to know some suggestions on who you would love to hear on here. Also, homemade hot sauce. I'm in. Slide in the DMs. That is, I only got a few bottles left, so let me know if you want one. But everyone listening, appreciate it as usual. Call you right back.